We're still back! We're still back! Here it is! This video, the title is awesome. Are women okay? Well, as a woman,
a tier 1 sub to
I'll answer before we start. No. Women are not okay. I am also not okay. Lucy, you're flat. Me, when I read that, is like, Lucy, you're fat. And I was like, God damn, bro. Jesus Christ. Like, what did I say that pissed you off so much? What did I say that pissed you off so much that you had to call me fat at that exact moment? Guys, thank you for the gifts, though. I appreciate it. Anyway, let's watch the fucking video.
War. What is it good for? Absolutely nothing. And Raytheon stock. War is a terrible thing, and this war has been happening for a very long time. From before—
Why does she look like Boxy?
Most of us were born, and will be raging on after we're long gone. I'm of course talking about the gender war. Men
the gender war!
For those of you who've been following me for the past year, you know of my ongoing research into the man question.
Stop it. Stop it.
Is approved by me.
Thank you for ruining both my and ShoeOnHead's reputation all in one fell swoop with that one. Anyway, continuing.
From learning how to be a real man, if you're a grown-ass man and you wear a seatbelt in the passenger seat, you are likely to be a raging homosexual. To judging—
They really do be saying shit like that. They really do be saying shit like that. All the fucking time. All the fucking time, man. Wait, did somebody say that the audio and the what the fuck you call it is out of sync? Hold on. Maybe you're delusional, but maybe you're right. I'll check. Is it? Maybe. Maybe. I'm gonna re-fucking start the video. You guys did this to me. You guys fucking did this to me. You ruined the VOD. You've ruined the fucking VOD. How does it feel? How does it feel to be a VOD ruiner? You're the worst of the fucking worst. A VOD ruiner. That's what you are. You're sorry? You're not sorry. If you were sorry, why are you doing it? If you're sorry, then why are you doing it? If you're sorry, then why are you like this? Explain that for me. Okay, let me know if this fixes it. Blah. Chatty, does this fix the problem?
War. What is it good for?
Does that fix the problem? Are we good?
Looks
good to me. Looks fine.
Yep.
Okay. Iron Fist, thank you for the gift, Sylva. I appreciate it. There was no problem. Well, if there was a problem, now there's not. Restarting the fucking video because you guys distracted my ass. Also, let's do this. I have attention span issues.
Absolutely nothing. And Raytheon stock.
Fuck. Fuck! It happened again.
War. What is it good for? Absolutely nothing. And
Absolutely nothing.
War is a terrible thing, and this war has been happening for a very long time. From before most of us were born, and will be raging on after we're long gone. I'm of course—
The gender war used to be about things where it's like, I wish my husband would stop beating me when he gets home. And now it's like, why does my husband carry groceries like that? It makes him look like a woman.
Of course, talking about the gender war. Men versus women. For those of you who've been following me for the past year, you know of my ongoing research into the man question. From learning how to be a real man, if you're a grown-ass man and you wear a seatbelt in the passenger seat, you are likely to be a raging homosexual. To judging men's living spaces,
by another man,
men
apparently.
will literally not buy a TV stand, but will have 2 mini fridges. To examining their interesting dating rituals.
Wish your toes were in my mouth right now.
I mean, hey. And although this journey is far from over, I decided to take a break to focus on the fairer sex. That's right, the women. There are many things—
The fairer sex? Women aren't fair at all. They're mean. I can't deal with women. They're fucking mean. Ikoshin, thank you for the 19 months. I appreciate it.
women love in this world. Flowers, chocolate,
like rubbing my
pumpkin
hands
spice
together.
lattes, cute animals, shopping.
That's white women, Shue. Jesus
complaining
Christ.
and nagging. Am I right, fellas?
Oh yeah,
But
that is
above all
universal.
else,
That one is.
women love posting their own L's.
My cousin, who is younger than me, is getting married today. Meanwhile, I have credit card debt. I am in a toxic situationship with one of my exes. Last week, I was so broke that instead of getting an Uber to the airport, I had a random guy from Hinge drive me.
No, they really do. Sorry. sorry for interrupting it here, but this is reminding me of how there are bitches on TikTok who will like, they hate their boyfriends or their husbands, and they will just record their husband or their boyfriend doing something that they don't like, and then they'll upload it to TikTok. What are you looking for? What are you looking for when you upload this shit to the internet? For people to like pat you on the back and say, wow, that's so horrible. Wow, that really sucks. I'm so sorry for you. Bitch, if you don't like it and you're posting it for attention, leave the fucking relationship. Jesus Christ.
And this year I have had chlamydia twice.
I understand that STDs can happen to anyone. But twice the same one? I feel like you're just not respecting your body at that point. You're not protecting yourself. You're not taking the easy steps and measures to make sure that you're safe.
So I've been working on a pretty big video, and I thought it would be nice to take a little break and make some trash content, because I know you guys love the trash content. I feel like the last two videos were a little more serious than I usually am, so I feel like it's trash time. So let us answer the question on everyone's mind.
Oink, oink, oink.
Are women okay? No.
No.
No, they are not. But before we get into this deep dive into the psyche of the modern woman, let's quickly get into today's sponsor.
Are you tired of this happening to you? Introducing AG1.
Oh my god, guys. Wait, why is she changed her whole look? She changed her whole look. Did the sponsor say, can you make yourself look like a mommy for this ad? Can you like put on the red lipstick and get yourself on like a dress and then the big glasses? Can you make yourself look like 5 years older, bare minimum? We're looking for a certain vibe for this advertisement. I appreciate that she put in the fucking sponsorship portion right here.
Thank you as always,
Very
the viewer,
cool.
for not skipping the ad. Now let's get back to the video. From posting about their old high school teachers subscribing to them on OnlyFans, to posting about their boyfriends cheating on them with their own mothers. Women love posting their own L's. I would know, despite rumors. I am a woman. Now for the boomer demographic who watches me who doesn't know what an L is, an L is a loss and a W is a win. And for the Zoomer demographic that watches me, Gat Ohio Rizzler.
Oh, now I get it. Okay.
When you try to be petty and request money from your ex and accidentally send it. Here's $100 for wasting my time and being a cheater. L. Absolute L. My ex-boyfriend is now gay, and my ex-girlfriend is now straight. Call that conversion therapy. When I helped the guy I was in love with get his girl because I thought maybe he'd fall in love with me in the process. No! Why did she think that?
I'm sorry. There's no way that women go on the internet and call men incels and then they post something like that. Are you dead ass for real? You're dead ass for real. Hold on. No.
Life is not TV. You're
No. When I helped the guy I was in love with get his girl because I thought maybe he'd fall in love with me in the process. This is some of the most pathetic shit I've read on the internet.
In love with me in the process. No! Why did she think this would work? Life is not TV. You are not the main protagonist of a Hallmark Christmas movie. Just remember the time I went on a first date to the London Zoo, and at the gate he asked if I would mind paying for my own ticket, which I said I would, at which point he pulled out a 2-for-1 voucher, so I paid for my ticket and he went in for free. I had to break up with him. Our signs weren't compatible. Once again, here we go. Astrology is racism for white women. I'm a Gemini. And he told me not to flush when I peed at his house to save money, so I obliged.
What? Astrology isn't racism for white women. Racism is racism for white women.
Until I went through his Discord and found pics of him drinking it. Oh no. I invited him to the crib, cooked for him, gave him the sloppiest neck you can manifest in your mind.
What the fuck?
Let him fold me like an origami bird, called him an Uber, then blocked him and never spoke to him again. I really beat him to the punch. We are learning the game too fast. Wow.
Guys, I had sex with him a lot and then I blocked him because I'm ahead of the curve. I knew he was gonna do that to me, so I did it first. Ha! I know the game. Yeah, I showed him Oh, I fucking got him. We women, you can't look down on us. We get it.
Oh, you sure showed him when I broke up with a white boy and he deleted his Stop Asian Hate story. Guys, my friend got banned from Tinder because she'd show up to dates without makeup and the dudes kept reporting her as a catfish. Oof. I don't know, I've always quickly shown the men I've dated what I look like without makeup because I figure if you don't love me at my naked-faced gremlin, you don't deserve me at my 2006 MySpace mid e-girl. I wanted this man to be vulnerable with me for so long. He finally called me yesterday and opened up, but the second he started crying, I lost all interest in him quickly. Women be like, men need to show their emotions till a man shows their emotions. I told my husband not to buy me a Christmas.
It's actually kind of crazy. I see this a lot. This is what guys say. Like, they say that the equivalent of would you rather meet a man or a bear in the forest is basically would you rather tell a tree or a woman about your emotions? And all the guys choose the fucking tree.
Present. I'm fuming that he actually isn't. Do not, I repeat, do not listen to women when they say this. Oh, I'm going to McDonald's. Do you want anything? No. Bullshit. Get them fries. I will never forget this guy I was seeing.
She's right. Guys, we just don't want to sound like a fat whore. We just don't want to sound like a fat whore. Okay? You know? Just bring back some fries or something. And then we're supposed to be like, oh, I told you not to get me anything. Starts fucking eating the shit out of those fries.
He didn't text me back for 3 days. And when he finally texted me, I was like, are you okay? And he was like, yeah, I was just watching The Sopranos. When you are on your third kid and third baby daddy at 23, it's the hypersexual personality with a breeding kink for me.
That's not... I love how she's like mixing up funny ass examples like the when he took Stop Asian Hate out of his bio after he broke up with me. That shit's funny. And then you get to this shit. Is she dead ass? You're giving birth to real life human beings because you, quote, have a fucking breeding kink? Get therapy. And give your children to people who will actually love them.
Okay, for the last time, you do not have a breeding kink. That is called being a woman. It is not a fetish. It came free with your genetics. Someone just asked my due date. I am not...
Guys, I have a breeding kink. Isn't it so kinky and weird? I just want a guy to just like inseminate me so that I can propagate the human race. For some reason, I just can't figure it out. It must be something strange. It must be a quirk of mine. The fact that like I kind of want a guy to just like, you know, bust a nut. I don't know. I guess I'm a freak. I guess I'm a wild one.
Pregnant. A reminder, once again, that unless a woman tells you she is pregnant, please don't assume. It's really hurtful.
Someone just got called pregnant.
Do not do this. I have seen this actually happen in real life. The internet will never know when I'm pregnant, by the way. They'll just have to assume I'm eating good. I was talking to this guy I met on Tinder, having the best conversations while we sipped on our boba, but when he found out my body count was close to triple digits, the conversation got quiet. He ghosted me after and blocked my Instagram, 23. Snapchat, and TikTok. Do all guys really care that much? Maybe I should start telling my dates that I'm a virgin instead. Yes, guys care that much. And not just guys, and especially triple digits. If you're somebody who
triple digits is a lot. It's a lot. That's so fucking many. Like, Jesus Christ, you're trying to break a record at that point. Inactives, thank you for the 23 months, blah, blah. I do feel like the obsession with body count is kind of excessive sometimes, you know? But at the same time, triple fucking digits? I wouldn't date somebody with triple digits either.
Take sex seriously, and you think it's a special...
Also, you're lucky that he just ghosted you and he didn't fucking call you a whore. Like, you know, he just acknowledged to himself, you know what? Nope, I can't deal with that. And then he just fucking ghosted you. He could have gone off and said, you know what? You're a huge fucking slut.
Thing, or you're a virgin, or you yourself have a low body count. It's perfectly acceptable to care about body counts. But if you a hoe, or if you a man hoe, and you care about the other person's body count, you're a fucking hypocrite. But I feel like even if you are a hoe or a man hoe with like a 20-something body count, I feel like you could still judge someone who's in the triple digits. How do you even meet that many people? I don't even know 15 people. I'm gonna give this one a W because I'm just impressed. That's just impressive. When I got pulled over for speeding and the nice officer said I could just show him a picture of license instead because I forgot my wallet, and watched me scroll past multiple boob pictures, and I couldn't tilt my phone the other way because my dad was in the other seat. Okay, there is nothing more stressful and anxiety-inducing than handing someone your phone to show them a picture. And you're just like, okay, give it back. Because if they accidentally swipe, they're gonna be seeing your hentai horse futa.
Thank God, thank God. I thought she was gonna say, they're gonna see your nudes. And I was like, this is unrelatable content. But yeah, sometimes I save like yaoi shit to my phone. So I don't really have this happen to me a lot. But when it does, I totally relate.
Am I right? Who among us does not have that on their phone? I remember
Yeah,
one time
right?
I was so obsessed with a boy that I found out his address, his mom and dad's number. I would call his mom, and when she answered, I would make up lies about him so he got his phone taken away so he didn't talk to other girls.
Me when
found
I
his
admit
family
to
members'
stalking.
names, how many times he moved houses, what schools he went to, found all his family photos, found all the girls he messed with so I could become friends with them. What's crazy is
This is only cute when an anime girl does it. Hi, Maria.
men will look at this and they'll be like, I could fix her. Okay, so when I was in 3rd grade, I had a crush on this guy, but he had a crush on this other girl, and I cried about it to my mom, and my mom was like, who cares? They're not gonna get married. And that made me feel better until I saw today that they did in fact get married. This reminds me when people are like, oh, like, don't worry, your school bully is gonna be fat and ugly in the future. No, my school bully is a fucking bodybuilder now. She could kick my ass. It's important to remember that you were not the main character, and sometimes good things happen to people you do not like.
I have no idea
And
what
honestly,
happened to my bullies
you're
in high
27
school.
years old. Time to move on from your 3rd grade crush. A guy I was hooking up with told me I was getting chubby and I should eat less. I just ate an entire fucking pizza. Fuck you, Brian.
My favorite is like the amount of upvotes this gets. Like, oh. See, here's the thing. The fact that you went and ate an entire pizza in response means that his comment got to you. And so you altered your behavior in response. I don't know. I don't see this as a
Do
dub.
not do this. Do not spite eat to get back at someone calling you fat. You go to the gym and you get... What is
She's
happening
about
out
to be
there? Who is
arrested
dying?
by the
guy
fucking-
I really
oh
liked
my
ghosted me
God.
because I posted a TikTok about guys with piercings and he didn't have any.
She
Honestly,
just said go to the gym.
kind of the man's L here. Women will often talk about what they're attracted to and what their type is, and they'll talk about like what men they find handsome, and like men who like that woman will like constantly obsessively compare themselves to those features and those people. They'll be discouraged because
Is
they
this
don't
real?
look anything like them. Like maybe she likes blonde hair and maybe he has brown hair. But if she likes you, she will make an exception. And maybe she's attracted to things she didn't even know she was attracted to until she met you. Congratulations to the man who had matched with me.
I think that if you like someone, you start to like the things that like they do. Like the things about them. I don't really believe in types so much as just like if somebody likes you, then they'll start to find the things that you do and your little quirks endearing, right? I mean, usually I feel like I have a thing for characters who have blonde hair and green eyes, girl or guy. But then also, no, I don't, because just because you have that doesn't mean that I fucking like the character. It's all down to the personality.
The moment I told him I was a journalist. Keep it classy, Middle America. Also, guess whose name I'm running through the court records tonight?
Oh.
What a Chad. Do not date journos. You unmatched me on Tinder, so now I'm gonna run your name through the courts.
That's
Okay,
insane.
Psycho. Oh, of course you worked for Jezebel. Rest in piss. Women need to start using men for sex. Sleep with them and block them. Give them a taste of their own medicine.
What would you get out of that? Like what would you get out of that, you fucking psychopath?
Who wants to tell her? No, but really, not all men do that, so now you're just contributing to this cycle of abuse. Do not do this, woman L. My boyfriend
So
said he was into
spiteful.
BDSM, so he'd have me doing burpees, planking, wall sits, and push-ups. I was into it, and he said he loves watching girls get pushed to their physical and mental limits when they submit to him. Then after a few
Oh.
months of this, he admitted he was just trying to get me in better shape because he didn't like having sex with me as much as he did at my old weight. Should I be offended? Okay, this one is just funny. Wait, what are these ages? 18 and 29. My old weight? Me and my boyfriend were hanging a TV and I told him to just let me do it. And now there's 30 holes in the wall. How do I tell him I need him to do it? Let your man do man
We've witnessed
things.
a crime.
Men were built for war and hunting. And now they're stuck in cubicles for 8 hours a day doing Microsoft Excel. The least you could
Make
do
it stop, make it stop, make
is
it
let
stop.
a man hang a damn TV. I don't care if you can open the jar yourself. Give it to him. Men in captivity need to feel like they have a purpose.
Shadi, I really wish that you could live in my basement for real so I could bring the pickle jars to you because I hate opening them on my
19
own.
months
I
later.
literally have to assault my senses to open pickle jars. First, because I'm too weak. But second of all, because the method that I use to open pickle jars when I'm too weak is basically I have to smack the top with a fucking spoon and go around it in circles and smack the shit out of it and make so much noise for it to, like, I don't know, do something with the air pressure to make it easier to open. It's so embarrassing every single time because everyone knows that I'm doing it.
Or else they die.
Now, thank
Do you
you for the
notice that
19
men
months.
are no longer persuasive? Once they ask you out on a date and you say no, that's it. These guys are told when a woman says no, that means no. And they're correct. So if you say no, you better f***ing mean no.
Yeah.
Apparently, like, a large percentage of men aren't even approaching women anymore. The amount of TikToks I have seen of women secretly filming men hitting on them, and the men are not even being creepy. They're being pretty normal. Maybe they're a bit awkward. And the caption's like, "This creep was hitting on me. Whoa, how dare him?" Like, how do you think your parents met? How are people supposed to meet people nowadays? Tinder? Like, you can't just walk up to a girl or guy you think is cute anymore. You have to be swiping on them. I am afraid we have
I think that there was a post that went viral. This video is old, right? There's a post that went viral, I think like a month ago, about a girl complaining that some guy gave her a note at like I think it was like a workshop or something, and he asked her out basically like on a date or something, and she got so mad about it and basically called him a creep. And then the note was extremely innocent and nice, and I was just like, you know what? I don't think this guy's gonna fucking kill you if you say no. You know, you know what? It's just a vibe that I get. I think you can just say no, right? Like, I don't think you need to fucking take it to the internet and invite other people to shit on him when all he did was have the audacity to take a fucking shot in an innocent and respectful way.
Me too'd a little too close to the sun, and now the men are afraid of speaking to us. I asked my boyfriend if he wanted to rail me, and he said he was too tired, so we went to bed and I literally woke up to him jerking it. Honestly, I can't decide whose L this is. Is it her L because he didn't want to have sex with her? Or is it his L for being too lazy? Perhaps she lays there like a dead fish. I don't know. Maybe just work out your issue.
It's the woman's L because why do I know this about you? This is like a couples therapy thing, right?
Issues in private. Why is this even on TikTok? Wait, no, on second thought, do not work them out in private. This is great content. Please do keep posting. I got asked on a date today and I blocked the guy because he asked me what I wanted to do instead of just telling me. Listen, there is a reason women are so indecisive about things, about where to go, and especially about what to eat. It is in our blood. Back in the caveman times, we didn't have a choice. You hunted the mammals and you dragged them back to the cave. And that is what we ate. So you choose. You bringing home Chipotle.
Yeah, don't ever fucking ask me, what do you want to eat? Bring home the fucking ox. Bring home the boar. Bring home the fucking mammoth. I'll eat what you bring back. That's how biologically I developed. Panda every night? Well, you get it.
Is the modern man bringing home a mammoth carcass. One time I was gonna have sex with this dude after a concert, and we went to shower off, and I did this naked little jig and went, "It's time to wash me holes," and he made me go home. No.
Damn, that's the man L. That's the man L. That's the man L. You were about to get pussy. And it was even from a girl who had the audacity to make a joke. Damn, man L. Man L. I can't believe it. First man L.
Don't fumble the quirky girl, no! I'm out eating with this guy, and he took the bill, and I offered to pay, and he said, "Okay, here."
Oh.
I love this trend of women being like, "I want this," and men being like, "Okay," and women being like, "Wait, no, not like that. For the love of God, just say what you mean." Men do not know how to play these mind games. These boys autistic out here. A guy wrote to me on Tinder calling me quite the catch because I like nachos and Always Sunny. So I wrote back saying, "Well, if you're impressed by that, you should see my tits." And he unmatched me. I literally have no idea what men want. See, this is a woman.
Because you were being a whore. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know. You came across like a creep. I know you probably think that you can't be a creep if you're a woman, but if you're having like a first time convo with someone and you're like, "Want to see my tits?" That's like if a guy said, "Want to see my cock." You're being creepy.
Who has on her mind that men want sex, 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 and nothing else. So she came out too strong right out of the gate and scared him off. I was on a blind date. The guy opened up Tinder while sitting there with me and was swiping on girls. I guess I wasn't interesting enough. Haha. Oof.
Oh.
A lot of pain in that haha. What's the hardest thing you ever had to say?
Why would you put that?
It's me or...
Why is that in your... Wait.
A lot of pain in that was swiping on girls.
Isn't this Tinder? She just put this in her she's like, please take pity on me and date me. Oh my god.
I guess I wasn't interesting
Actual
enough.
femcel behavior.
Oof. A lot of pain in that, haha. What's the
That's
hardest thing you ever
Hinge?
had to say?
Fuck, you people know a
It's me
lot
or the
about these
PlayStation.
dating apps, don't
He
you?
took the
Cheating
PlayStation
horse.
over his marriage and 10-year relationship. Oh my god.
That's funny
You know,
as
I
fuck.
always say if somebody offers you an ultimatum between them and something else, take the something else. But in this case, I don't know, a PlayStation? Like, maybe there's more
Oh
to
my
the
God,
story,
thanks
but
for the
ending a
1,000 bits.
10-year relationship and marriage over a PlayStation?
I just came to the realization why I'm single. Every guy that I'm like, oh yeah, he's attractive, I see their wives and they just look like so like, you know, not like this.
What?
You know, like, I pretend my tattoos are gone.
What?
That's why guys don't want to wife me up. I thought these men wanted like, you know, big, strong, tough girls.
Okay, so first of all, she will find a man, okay? She's adorable, she's self-aware, she's just a little quirked up white girl with tattoos. Who doesn't like a little quirked up white girl with tattoos? I personally love tattoos, I love piercings. If I wasn't such a pussy, I would look like this. In high school, I was so determined to get an Avenged Sevenfold logo on the back of my neck.
my God.
So happy that didn't happen. But anyway, some men do like her style, and trust me, judging by the internet, men love muscle mommies. But if she's not attracting the type of men she wants, she could just easily soften up her style. She could take the nose ring out. She could put her hair down. I'm not gonna say L or W. This is kind of neutral. I'm leaning towards W because she's so self-aware about it. But I think she's gonna make it. We're all gonna make it, queens. If a man leaves you after you've cheated,
Man, I guess that is a problem for people who date. Like, when your style is alternative, but you're looking for, like, the fucking sweet, innocent puppy boyfriend, that's pretty fucking crazy. Because usually the sweet puppy boyfriend wants a sweet puppy girlfriend. Damn. Damn. That's rough. Good thing I'm never going to date and ever deal with this shit ever. Thank
clearly
fucking
wasn't
God.
a real man. Real men would work through it and help you become a better woman. They accept you with all your flaws. When I thought my man was cheating on me, so I slept with his dad, but actually he was just planning on his proposal to me and I ruined.
I was mostly just laughing at the women, but these two make me fucking mad. I hope it's fake. I hope it's fake and that you're lying, because maybe you're advertising like an OnlyFans or some shit, because I think you just wanted to cheat. You were looking for an excuse to cheat. And when you found one, you hopped on it because you wanted to cheat. Because you're a fucking whore.
What? When you go through his phone to see if he's cheating, but you find screenshots of you cheating. When you checked his phone to see if he's cheating, but found nothing, then suddenly he said, my turn. Listen. If your partner wants all of your passwords and constantly wants to see your phone, reads all your texts and wants access to all your accounts all the time, and accuses you of cheating on them randomly, that's most likely projection, and they are cheating on you. Not all.
And it's always women who do that shit. It's always fucking women who do that shit. I feel like I'm going insane when I'm on TikTok and I see this shit and they're all like, oh, there's no reason you should have a lock on your phone. You should have a lock on your phone. I should be able to go through your text whenever I want, whenever I want, whenever I want. No, you're fucking insecure and you're doing the thing. You're acting like a fucking cheater. How do they not
Sometimes
realize
they have
this
trust
shit?
issues, maybe from a different relationship. In these cases, yes, it was projection.
But it's a problem.
Mom of two leaves her husband of 14 years for a stranger she was convinced was her soulmate after one magical night at a conference, only to be ghosted by him. I'm sorry, are we supposed to feel bad for
Deserved.
this? Because I don't. Men, if the DNA confirms the baby is not yours, it doesn't change the fact that you must take responsibility of the baby. Women go through a lot in marriages, and women deserve better.
Why did the video suddenly become rage bait? It was kind of funny, but now it's rage bait.
What? Woman, 37, stabs husband multiple times after finding explicit photos of another woman that turned out to be her when she was thinner. No!
That's
This man
horrible
texted
and funny
me,
as
"Thank
fuck
you
at
for
the same
showing me what
time."
it feels like to be loved. I can't wait to make you my wife someday. It's gay shit like that that makes me want to cheat. Women be like,
Damn, I should have saved this video for last because I'm getting angry.
wow, thanks! This is why it's so f***ing hard to convince men to open up. I hope and pray this king has found someone who actually appreciates him. When he cheated on me with the same girl my other ex cheated on me with. Girl, that isn't your average hoe. That's—
Stop, no, read the comment. Read the fucking comment. Nah, man, she up 2-0. You gotta start playing some offense.
When he cheated on me with the same girl my other ex cheated on me with. Girl, that isn't your average hoe. That's your arch nemesis. You need to either defeat her in battle or commit seppuku right now. No other way.
Defend your
Betrayed.
fucking honor.
I suggested an open marriage to my husband to spice up our sex life. He then fell for his lover and I was heartbroken. Many such cases. Woman wants to open up the marriage, man finds
Open
someone
marriages
else
sound like
and leaves
coke
with
to
her.
me.
Because as soon as you open up the marriage, he's not gonna take it seriously anymore. Because you're not taking it.
I think once you open up the marriage, you basically have to admit to yourself that you're married for like legal purposes. You're married because it's convenient to be married, and you're basically done with the marriage, and that's why it's open.
Seriously anymore. And a lot of people just can't be polyamorous. They can only be monogamous. They can only give their love and intimacy to one person at a time. So L, common open marriage L. Getting 2 jobs and telling my boyfriend that I'll work 70 hours a week so I can pay the bills so he can find his dream job, to find out he was cheating on me on the days I worked 16 hours. When he went on Tinder right in front of me an hour after taking my virginity. I nursed my cheating husband back to health from severe brain trauma. Then he cheated again. Okay, so I know this is about women posting their L's, but goddamn, these men ain't shit. No wonder there's so many insane, broken harpies coming at me when I talk about male loneliness. And no wonder there are so many men who think all women are lying whores.
I'll just stay a virgin forever. I'll just stay a virgin forever. Chatty, I promise to you now, I don't want to be that girl who like loses her virginity and then the guy's on Tinder next to her in bed. Yeah, so I'm just gonna keep it. It's like my little toy. It's like my little treasure. Okay, I'm gonna keep it.
Y'all are destroying yourselves. Stop cheating. Is it that hard to not f someone? I don't think so. Look at my audience. Follow people who haven't done that.
I mean, the whole time I was seeing him, I was kind of just using it as a psychology experiment.
My chatty
I really
gets hella
liked the
bitches.
guy. I more just wanted to see if I could break his heart. It was fun.
So did you break his heart then?
Just a wee bit. I hope I did a little damage.
Demon! Be gone, vile woman! Congratulations, you have created another person with trust issues. People like this should be in jail. People like this should be in prison. People like this should be thrown in the pit. Remembering the time he came home and told me he cheated on me, so I slept with him and made him tell me I was better. When I found out my boyfriend was cheating on me, instead of breaking up...
No, Shoo! Some of this has to be like fucking OnlyFans models who are just like, I'm posting NTR fetish content.
He had me and the other girl give speeches on why he should stay with either of us, and when he chose me, I took him out to dinner and got him thank you presents. Never was much of a romantic. I used to beg him to stop cheating on me by giving him money. Me remembering the time I walked in on my boyfriend cheating on me, and I left and came back 5 minutes later and asked to join. They declined.
They declined!
Women, get some self-respect. Holy shit, I would say you could do better, but...
She lives in my brain.
Honestly, I don't know anymore. Turn up the cheat. All women should have an affair once in their life. It made me feel sexier and look younger. First of all...
Yeah, look at that. Super sexy.
Did it? Second of all, this is the kind of shit the average woman has blasting into her mind 24/7. And you wonder why like 45% of them are destined to be single in 2030. And on the flip side, you have all these like manosphere red pill people excusing cheating, but that's a video for another day. Is the man I'm cheating with lying to me like he does to his wife? Yes! Yes, he is. Next, I've cheated on...
If you're knowingly, like, sleeping with somebody who you know is cheating on his wife, why do you expect anything? Like literally a modicum of truth. Why do you think that that's owed to you? You're already scum of the fucking earth, and so is he. So why do you expect any type of truth from him? That's silly.
Every single one of my significant others. Would you still take a shot? Fellas, would you take a shot? I swear to God, women with big titties can get away with anything. The power dynamic of the world is this. The peasants, the rich, the elites, the deep state, women with big titties. Broke up with my boyfriend who loved me so I could hook up with my coworker that I've had a huge crush on since forever, who just got out of a 3.5-year relationship. All to get pumped and dumped. Thinking about how my perfect first boyfriend who was nice and bought flowers and gifts and planned surprise dates and never followed girls on social media, and how I dumped him because I was bored and went off to date men who literally abused and cheated on me, LMA.
This is crazy. I love how she puts in never followed girls on social media. There's no situation in which a man would be following a girl on social media unless he was having cheating thoughts. Very true. This is a normal standard to have. Rumba mine, thank you for the 30 months, by the way, blah blah.
Thinking about the time I left a man who would do anything to make me happy for a literal bum. When I had a boy that had loved me unconditionally since we were 13, flies across the country to surprise me, and after 2 years still supported me and worshipped me, and I let him down for a lying, cheating piece of shit. I'm starting to suspect there's not a male loneliness epidemic.
I think some people get what they deserve.
Avoiding these evil bitches epidemic. This video was turning me into a misogynist. I always thought the woman leaving the nice guy for the bad boy and getting her heart broken was a silly trope. Like, I knew it happened, but I didn't know it happened this much. L's all around. Throw these women in the pit. I hope these guys find women who appreciate their niceness, because believe it or not, despite popular belief, most women do like that. I asked him how tall he was, and he said, I'm 5, and I immediately hung the phone up. Turns out he's 5'11". How do I apologize?
You don't. You don't. Shit yourself now. Keep yourself safe.
I rejected this sweet guy various times, then a couple months later, he's dating someone new. Then once I got home, I cried. The time my prison pen pal came out of jail, me once and never spoke to me again after 2 years of telling me he loved me and wanted me to be in his life forever.
What did you expect?
What? Your prison pen pal? You're telling me the convict in jail was not a good person? Of all people? I left my husband because the sex was boring. Now I'm having the same problem with my new partner. There is a common factor here. He proposed. Aw, that's nice. To the girl he dated after me. Oh, I know we all let our dogs eat us out at least once. I'm sorry, we? Us?
What?
Who is this us and we you speak of? One time after me.
Wait.
Oh,
you know what? I don't think that's a white woman. Would everyone like to apologize? I don't think that's a white woman. Would anyone like to say sorry to me? Anyone? I'll wait. It's the lighting? Are we coping? Like, what? I don't know her race, obviously.
No, we all let our dogs
But
eat
there's
us out.
a non-zero chance that this is not a white woman.
At least once.
Across her back.
I'm sorry,
When
we?
I
Will,
asked
thank
her
you for
about
the
it,
10
she
months.
Who is
said,
this
well,
us
it
and
seemed like
we?
a good
Oh,
idea
shit.
while he was in prison.
I did a photo shoot with a model who had a guy's name tattooed across her back. When I asked her about it, she said, well, it seemed like a good idea while he was in prison. I hope you're joking.
I'm sorry, we? Us? Who is this us and we you speak of? One time I was riding a dude and he pressed my bladder, so I ended up peeing all over him for a solid minute, and after I said, I'm claiming my territory. I pee in the shower so frequently that my feet are dyed yellow. I left my underwear on the bathroom floor after my shower the other day, and now there's ants eating my discharge. I'm not showing.
This is proof that, like, all of the nasty shit that you've seen on 4chan, like the fucking guy who came inside of the jar with the My Little Pony and made it smell rancid, women are doing the same shit, but they're posting it on Twitter instead.
Doing this, but it's literally just dirty underwear with ants all over it. You know, growing up, I was always told, like, oh, boys are the smelly, messy gender, and I don't know about that. Confession, one time somebody nutted in my mouth and his semen was chewy. I held back tears. Oh god, this one made me gag. Whose L is this? Is this hers or the man's? I don't even know. See a fucking doctor. Okay guys, I really need
Chewy? Like... what is the texture supposed to
Lucy
be like?
Hart.
Maria Sama, thank you for the tier 3 and the 2 months.
help. Every check from my sugar daddy bounced. Wells Fargo is closing my accounts and I'm gonna owe them a lot of money. Like thousands and thousands. I'm in a full-blown panic right now. I don't know what to do. You know, as a socialist, I really hate to say this, and I wish we lived in a different society and didn't have to give all our time and our life to this labor under this evil capitalist system, but get a f***ing job, bitch! I spent $20K on plastic surgery to try to get a man, but it hasn't worked. I've been single for 7 years. Well, you went from cute and unique to like cookie cutter Kardashian alien, but perhaps it is not the way you look. Maybe it is something else. You do not have to look like a blow-up doll to find love. In fact, you're more likely to not find love.
Yeah.
Looking this way. $25,000 L. Everyone my age is having children, buying houses, and getting married. And I'm just over here crying with happiness that I got to hear Hillary Clinton say, human rights are women's rights and women's rights are human rights in person.
Dr. Jennifer Cassidy, Oxford diplomat. This is a great anti-advertisement for Oxford. Go to any other university.
You don't have kids? How old are you? Me, 31. That surprises me. I'd be lost without my kids. I mean, how do you find meaning in life? Me. Marvel keeps coming out with films, so I have that. Average millennial. Reject love and family. Embrace corporate media
your brain
slop.
on normism.
Okay, it's one thing to just not want kids. It's another to cope like this. At least I have Marvel movies. At least I have Hillary Clinton. Bleak. Thinking about the fact that I offered him $100 a week to add me back on Snap and talk to me, and he said no. I was so ready to pay that too. I still am. I will still pay you to add me back. Please, I'm begging. Could you imagine this reversed? Like men paying money to talk to a crazy woman?
No one would ever do that. No one would do that. That's so silly. What are you talking about?
Oh wait. That's like 60% of my Discord.
I'm Rhea.
Donnie, nice to meet you.
Fun fact about Donnie, he's a Marvel nerd. Are you into Marvel?
You know what? No. Like, my brother watches them, but I just can't get into anime. Like, okay.
Like, you can't not like Marvel. It's amazing.
No!
There's so many different
I really thought he was gonna defend anime, but instead he defends Marvel. They're both L. Both a fucking L. Both sides L as fuck. So Soldier, thank you so much for the 5 gift subs. GMP, thank you for the 1 gift sub. And Mr. Majub, thank you for the 3 months. I appreciate it.
things, and it's
Yeah,
not
no one would
anime,
ever
it's
do
just
that,
like
especially
a
not
bunch
you,
of
right,
superheroes
Czar?
who try to save everybody.
Oh no. We need to hook this guy up with the other woman who's like 31 and single and only looks forward to Marvel movies. They are a match made in heaven. When I remember that I basically begged a dude
There's someone for everyone out there, man. This is actually so hopium
who
pilled.
had his mattress on the floor and a plastic jug full of loose change on his mantle to be with me, and he said no. Still can't believe I f***ed a guy who made me drink water out of a Tupperware container. I f***ed a guy with actual shit on his floor. Okay, this is why so many women think men aren't improving or putting in a lot of effort, because they don't have to. They can have literal shit on their floor and you will f*** them. How are women's standards so high and
It's pretty crazy. The fact that, like, women will criticize men for certain behaviors, but then they fuck and sleep with and date those same fucking men. Why don't you put your money where your mouth is and break up with these people if it bothers you so much? Because you're sending the wrong signal when you date them anyway.
simultaneously so low? I'm a liberal. It's hard to find masculine men to date who aren't conservative. Ladies, stop f***ing thinking you need your man to align with you completely. Because you know who's gonna align with you completely? A woman.
Yeah.
A woman with bipolar disorder. Woman marries a dog after 200...
Me when I relate a little bit too much to the quirky anime girl with bipolar disorder in the fucking needy streamer overload game. Yeah, I'm sure that doesn't say anything about me.
20 failed relationships with men. The fate of every lonely man is suicide, and the fate of every lonely woman is marrying her dog.
I have a stutter.
Unfortunately, I can't make a cute recap video of this year because I spent 2022 ugly crying over my ex, quit my job, ended up in the psych ward, and got an STD. It really does need to be studied why women love posting their L's. My theory is that, like, women's go-to humor is self-deprecation. Like, female comedians do it often. Even me, like, I'm constantly making self-deprecating jokes in videos.
Yeah,
so it could be that, or it could be just, like, a cry for help or attention. I have no idea, but what I do know is you couldn't beat this shit out of a man. So that was that, whatever that was. Wait, I guess I'll leave you guys with a question. Post one of your biggest L's. Did you ever fumble a relationship? Did a girl flirt with you 10 years ago and you didn't realize she was flirting until now? If you want to support the channel, please consider donating to my
I can't believe this video has caused so much controversy and hatred from women when all it is just screenshots of women doing weird shit and her making fun of them. She's not even making a statement on women in general. She's just making fun of dumbass posts. And yet people were mad about this video. People were angry. One of my L's, I got you. I met a girl at a fancy hotel bar back in 2016. I struck up a conversation and asked her what she was doing at the hotel, and she told me that she had organized a conference at the hotel with all the big players in the world to talk about green energy and sustainability. She asked me what I do, and I said, I made Goat Simulator. It's a video game about being a goat. She walked away before I could even tell her about multiplayer and our latest DLC. Woman L. That's not a man L. It's a woman L. Huge woman fucking L. Huge woman fucking L. A girl grabbed my shoulders. I walked past her in a bar and said, damn, you can't be walking past me all handsome like that. I looked at her and said, I'm sorry, and walked away. She was stunning too. Damn. That one hurts. That one hurts a little bit. Okay. Guys, look, it's a Lucy Pyre keyboard! Oh my god! Yeah, Lamelda got this keyboard. I don't know where the fuck they ordered it custom done, but doesn't it look so fucking cute? Anytime he wants to type U or J, he has to touch my tits. Pretty based if you ask me. Very cute, very cute. I feel like Gamer Subs should release themed keycaps. That'd be pretty cool. Anyway, the alien Italian cult that wants your inheritance. I don't know what the fuck this is going to be talking about. I don't even have the first clue. This is so beyond anything I've ever heard.
Have you ever wanted to join a cult, but then you think, I don't know, they're all just a bit too dodgy for my taste? Well, today is your day because we're talking about the Federation of Daimondbult, the world's first ethical cult. Their words, not mine. Founded in the year 1975 by this man, Oberto Audi.
I mean, I appreciate that they just come out and say it though, right?
Situated in the Piedmont region of northern Italy. Essentially, their claim to fame is that they dug a bunch of these very interesting temples into the ground like some latter-day dwarves of Moria. They also claim to be in contact with a race of cosmic beings that they refer to as
That's just Scientology.
Because really, is it even a New Age cult if you don't sprinkle a bit of ET on there? Put a UFO on the holy text. I'm getting sucked up in doing space mass! So why am I talking about this? Well, it's because Vice Media did a little piece on it in their Fringes series, and honestly, every time I think I've seen the last of the insane things I'm gonna see, another one just pops up. So naturally, I'm not going in alone. If I have to suffer, so do all of you. By the way, can I just say that the intro to this Vice series, Fringes, has the most metal and or schizophrenic opening jingle I've ever heard? Just listen to this.
Okay. Peek.
Who just sat down to make that?
Definitely fucking schizophrenia. That's not even a sound.
That thing was like, oh, that's good.
That was a manifestation.
Nice! Anyways, let's get into the video, shall we?
Daimondbult has over 600 followers, live in a community complete with shops, living quarters,
600 followers? Chatty, not to brag or anything, but I have way more followers than this cult. So that makes my cult way better.
Daimondbult shunned the media, but by promising not to call them a cult, I've managed to get an invitation.
Well, with friends like these, geez, you gotta do them dirty like that right off the bat? Also, I'm pretty sure by saying it like that, you've pretty much voided the agreement.
I've managed to get an invitation to their biggest celebration, the birthday party of the deceased founder, Falco.
Oh.
Okay, so your big journalistic sting operation is essentially for a guy's birthday party. Am I getting this correct? Also, his birthday party, that's their main celebration?
That's terrifying.
I feel like it takes the weight out of it when you say it like that. Like, technically, Christmas is Jesus' birthday party, but, you know, it's not like, happy birthday to Jesus, happy birthday to Jesus.
What are you talking about? He's never been to a Southern religious, like, Christmas get-together. It's absolutely happy birthday to Jesus. Salty Barista, thank you for the sub. Welcome in.
It's not the same.
Aha, there is Falco, an insurance broker who in the 70s became a spiritual guru.
Wait, hold on. Before he founded a new religion, he was an insurance broker. Doesn't have the same down-to-earth ring to it as, like, carpenter. But, you know, you gotta start somewhere.
No. It didn't make sense to me. You know, he learned about the woes of modern society by being an insurance broker, and then he started a cult to get away from it all. It all checks out.
Somewhere. Do you think he was just, like, absolutely sick of pushing papers, and one day he's just like, do I have it in me to lie to people? Can I just, like, make shit up and reap the benefits? What do I gotta say
yes.
to them? Sante sana squash banana, pay me money, you'll go to heaven. Yeah, I can do that.
It was Falco's vision that led to
Lying is so OP on the internet, it's actually strong as fuck. You can just go there and say things. and people will just believe you. You can just fucking say things and somebody can prove that like you're wrong, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't even matter. You can just lie. Just fucking lie. I see it all the time. People acting like certain things are real when they're not real, and they just lying, and people just believe it. It really is overpowered. You could convince people. Just lie.
9 temples being built, 70 meters underground. They are
like your virginity? No. Like the fact that I'm not secretly a 35-year-old man behind the screen. That's the lie. Get it right.
The Sistine Chapel.
What the hell is this shot of him just standing here nonchalantly while he's like unsealing a pharaoh's tomb? Yeah, I don't care. Mummy's curse could be in there. I'll just block it, dude. No, I don't care.
No,
Be honest,
I'd
you
win.
put this here yourself,
I'd
didn't
win.
you? Just so you could look cool unsealing it, and I gotta say, I'm sorry, but I feel like it doesn't work that way. You can't curse yourself.
This is the hall which is dedicated to the beauty of this planet. In these walls, you can see all
It's
different
kinda ugly.
landscape that represent the
oh, it is
beauty
ugly.
of this
Oh,
planet
yeah.
Earth.
What the
Whole
fuck?
thing. That's the whole beauty, though. That is all of it right
Whoa,
there.
whoa, what's
that might
going
even
on
be
there?
the 8 from Tarzan. We don't know. And this guy, at least 2 no touchy warrants from the state of Arizona. He's on the run.
Real? Okay. Being in a cult and being a sex offender, name a more iconic duo. But like, what the fuck is this mural trying to represent?
But I don't know, guys. Looking at this, I feel like you might need a bit of help with the aesthetics. And you know who would never fail to fill out this wall with beauty and style?
Oh no, is this an ad?
That's right. It's the good folks over at Displate. When it
I
comes
knew
to
it.
wall art, Displate is your personal
I knew it.
Michelangelo. Unlike
I
you're
knew
ever
it.
gonna try and sort out some of her own problems using the group's methods, which may or may not be inadvisable.
Having never found a cure for my own mental health issues, I am prepared to try anything.
Join
Anything?
the cult.
Like, just checking, we exhausted aspirin? I just don't know if Yogic Xenu is the next anything we should jump to. There's a lot of anythings out there.
Lucky for me, Antelope here has just the right handmade copy contraption called an intelligence machine to do just
What the
that.
fuck is
Oh
that?
my god, the intelligence machine, huh?
Lobotomy
It's good branding
machine?
on that one. So like, you can't say they're not a state-of-the-art facility with that kind of equipment. And here my local hospital just has a measly MRI scanner. And God knows this thing ain't half as fun. You gotta be all like this. But here, we're loose. We're free balling. Help! Help! Saying that just enhances the fun.
My first treatment
What is it
begins with
supposed to
Antelope.
do?
Okay, every code can work in different way. For example, here, different kind of code, different treatment.
Ma'am, I can't help but notice you're just sort of waving that wand around haphazardly. You're over there playing Funky Town on the corkboard tax. I'm not trying to micromanage you, okay? There's a bit at stake here for me. I gotta make sure you're not gonna accidentally turn my brain into a toad. So just when you're handling the equipment, can you just pay a little more attention? Thank you.
And during this treatment, we have a sound.
Ooh, very nice. My
What is
adrenal
that
glands are
expression?
really firing. Never have I been so calm!
They believe this specific frequency
feels-
will attract the cell.
I'm sorry, but her face just literally says, this is bullshit. I can't. Her fucking face really says it all.
They're cosmic friends to realign my organs or whatever else Antelope asks them to do.
Yeah, I don't think her kitty should go there either, but what am I supposed to do? Not follow orders when I hear that sweet, sweet buzz? I mean, she is definitely 100% dead already. This was bad advice. And of course, as is natural, the only thing that could possibly follow up a full body cleansing that good is time travel.
Of course.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you,
Andiamo.
What the fuck?
This is a gate, a portal. When you step in the other side, you change the memory inside your body.
Wow, that is amazing. I would go right through there right now, but I can't. I'll hit the wall. You see, I'll hit the wall there right now. Say, maybe you can even take it off the wall just for effect, you know? This is really awesome.
I think that we can recap the complete selfic approach to a time technology.
Is it metaphorical or
It's
is
physical.
That's physical.
What?
See this? See that?
Prove
Do I
it.
speak in limericks, tall tales, prose? What are you not getting? This is the real thing, honey. What does he mean it's physical? Wouldn't it be at the very most metaphysical? Like, what do you mean? You can't put your hand through this portal? Is that what you're getting at? This is about atoms vibrating at a fast or slow level. That's what I'm talking about.
Okay.
So there is not a movement. You will be there. And you have to come back.
What if I
What?
get stuck?
If you get stuck, you have to change your own life and you create your own life there.
He doesn't even believe what he's saying. He doesn't even believe what he's saying.
Yeah, that's a problem. Admittedly, that is a kink we've yet to work out. So until we do that, I wouldn't visit like the Viking raids at Lindisfarne or something, because you might very well end up burying the lineage of a Viking for real. That will be your life. But like I said, there's pros and cons to the whole thing.
The most important aspect is not only to find a way to move in time, but also to come back to York.
Okay.
I love her reaction. She's just like, this is how you're choosing to sell this to me? Like, I agree, yes, we should find a way for me to come back if I use this.
Chris, hi.
Maybe you should have done this research before you showed this off to me. Also, you're literally making this up. You could have told me anything here. You could have just said it was out of service.
Lucy, would you get fooled by this? No. I would not believe in this, but I'm also, like, I just have crazy anxiety. So regardless of the fact that it's clearly fucking fake, I would be nervous and shit to walk through it. Real Spicy Potato, welcome, because I'm like, shit, what if I get stuck? What if I get stuck in, I'm like, where, I don't even know, Chatty. What would be the worst place for me to end up in specific? Probably in a place with no internet.
It's the truth then? Because why would you lie? Why would you make yourself look bad like this? So after that festival of absolute elucidation,
the Amazon, Los
they go to like the organization's
Fuck, what if I end up in
showroom,
California?
And he just goes on to give her a tour of their, I don't know what you'd call it, their merch collection. And ooh mama, you better hope you got some liquid funds, because they got some hot properties you're gonna want.
This is the most advanced kind of selfie car. It's the high end of selfie car.
Now I do not doubt, sir, that you are showing me your top shelf finest product, but even when you're buying
it's
the
covered
finest,
in cum.
generally,
Wait.
You'd like to know.
Do you guys notice that? It's covered in semen.
Generally,
it's covered in fucking dried semen. I didn't even notice, but that's just like crust. Ugh.
Now I do not doubt, sir, that you are showing me your top shelf finest product, but even when you're buying the finest, you generally,
Jesus Christ.
You'd like to know what category of thing you're buying. You feel me? Also, I don't dare overstep, but there's a lot of very liberal use of hot glue and copper in this facility.
That ain't hot glue.
I'm to assume a man of your tastes would have used the finest adhesives from the fjords of Bergen. Could, but I want to be like Timmy, who got into the Elmer's glue.
It's the high end of selfie car. This is a water inside that come from the 60s.
What the actual fuck does that mean? Let me be clear. I don't want to stutter.
Just the 60s?
This is a water inside. And it's none of that cheap knockoff 70s shit. This is that pure 60s water. I honestly, I don't even know what he means here. I think he means there's water inside of these glass spheres on the thing, but how do you verify it's from the 60s? Because technically all water's like prehistoric, right? Isn't water all prehistoric? Yes, some water on Earth is prehistoric.
What is with the AI overview? Oh my god! Stop, creators, please, God, do not fucking screen cap the AI overview result.
And we use that small drop of waters to energize the other waters. It's a sort of laptop, a computer of selfie car.
What, a laptop?
Wow.
That is not what I was expecting him to say. You are gonna look me dead in the eyes and tell me that's a laptop. Okay, I've done book reports back in school. I used Microsoft Word, and it did not install on that.
If I wanted to buy one, how much would it be?
The average from 7,000 euros to 15,000 euros.
Mine is about 40,000.
Okay, but you can buy one and just like do time travel? Okay. Wow, why did nobody tell me that there was a huge scientific breakthrough like this?
Wow, okay. Well, whatever you're paying this lady, quite frankly, it's not enough. Interviewers losing interest, you know, she's checking the emergency exits, then from downtown, lady comes in with a, yo, you seen the sport model though? You wanna go around town be seen with that thing? I mean, okay, if you want people to think you're poor.
It's hard to imagine anyone willing to pay 40,000 euros for something like this.
Be honest with me though, are you really surprised? Because we are living in the kind of world where people will pay $200 for a toaster that has the word smeg on it. And God knows smeg.
Why not? That's the funniest way to fucking kill yourself in Minecraft. You just throw the fucking smeg toaster in the bathtub.
Is a $15.99 kind of word. And you know people are paying just for the smeg, because this thing just has 2 regular bread hole slots. Oh, but don't worry, if that's not good enough for you, we've still got the $1,100 Dolce & Gabbana edition. You know, the one that's got the guy with fucking face with 3 fucking legs coming out of it. Pay up, please. Yeah, we're definitely living in the kind of world where someone will pay 40,000 euros for this Da Vinci masterpiece, I'm afraid. But if you were about to despair, do not do that, because you too can be the owner of one of these fine items, seeing as they've got an online shop where you can become the proud owner of amazing items such as Sphere, which ranges in price from 333 euros to 666 euros. It's a pretty big price differential on the Sphere. Why is that? Oh, it's because you can select from big or small Sphere. Like how big, how small? Like, will this fit in my room if I get big? We're getting big, we're going big, okay? We gotta go big. Okay, add to basket, and not allowed to proceed.
Oh.
Why? Oh, okay, this product is only available for those who have concluded the Sphere course and have permission of the responsabile. Is that a typo or is that just Italian? The responsabile of the Sphere course. So you know they're not just grifting, okay? They're not just giving unlicensed spheres willy-nilly. This is serious.
Yeah, it's not a grift.
Where can you take the Spheres course?
They're saving souls here.
Okay, found it. Spheres course for communitarian citizens. 111 euros. Very reasonable price. What happens if I buy this? Do they just send me a PDF or something? Are they gonna schedule me with their Sphere practitioner? You know what, I'm against this, because I feel like every free citizen should have the right to a Sphere. They're locking the Sphere behind a paywall, and I don't stand for that.
I mean, it is kind of fucked up when you think about it. Like, if you're a cult and a religion and you think this is how people are gonna reach enlightenment, and you're charging them 111 euros just to learn about the joy of Sphere, and then 666 euros to let them have Sphere?
Okay, I bought it.
Damn!
I like
the
the
gate
Sphere.
to heaven
What
has
are
a
you gonna do
fucking
about it,
entry
pussy?
charge.
But as you might have guessed, it's not all just hot glue and rainbows out here. In fact, there are plenty of people who have been critical of Dom and her,
I want to buy a park pass to heaven, and I want it to have like park hopping, so I want to add like $50 charge to it so I can go and see what they're doing over in hell whenever I get bored.
accusing them of nefarious activities such as stealing all their money after they agreed to give the cult all their money. Who could have
Many
seen
such
this coming?
cases. And what sort of things did you have to give to Damanhur?
I gave to Damanhur
I love his name. Damn Whore.
Inheritance around 500,000 euros.
Oh, come on. Quit complaining. So you had to pay your entire inheritance. What were you gonna do with that anyway? Set up a long-standing bed of wealth for your progeny? What are you, some kind of fruit?
One after another, people take the oath, swearing to give everything to Damanhur.
E ogni cosa in mio possesso per aiutare la comunità e qualsiasi altro cittadino.
I forgot.
I mean, this is just insane.
I forgot this was in Italy because the documentary was in English, but now I'm remembering. This is Italy.
To me, I know classically people will do all sorts of crazy stuff in the search.
I mean, Italy is like a fucking hard territory to launch this grift because they got the Vatican and shit. 26 Metal Man, thank you for the sub. Welcome. Like, the competition in that market's insane.
For meaning and belonging, but usually there's like some veneer of deception involved. Like, you gotta at least have the decency to trick me into signing something with my own blood. What do you mean they're just asking these guys, hey, give me all your money to join a glorified YMCA? And they're like, okay. I mean, why have the extra steps of brainwashing and Kool-Aid, you know? Just ask debit or credit.
What does Damanhur mean to you?
Oh, Damanhur is my life, my dream.
And it always has been a very beautiful opportunity, many things happening.
See this? See that? That's called a country club. It's what you want, and it has a fee, but it's substantially lower than what they're charging here. I'm just saying, okay? I'm just saying. So anyways, now we get to the point where the interviewer here is gonna put—
get it. They want to have like the Damn Whore. There's no Damn Whore at the country club. There's fucking Karen and Stacy who are arguing with each other over whose husband makes more money. It's not the same vibe.
Her money where her mouth is and try out some of Dom and her's activities. So she meets up with one of their main members known as Labrador, and I can only really describe this lady as piercing.
Do you feel a change, a sensation? Does it tickle somewhere?
She's so scary. She's so scary. What? She's so scary.
Lady, if there's something warm I'm feeling—
Do you feel a sensation? A change? A tickle somewhere?
It's because you made me pee myself. Why are you looking at me like that? You've got to
She's
stop.
scary
That
as
has
fuck.
got to stop. You have no idea. This lady's like an absolute trip. At this point in the documentary, she just like hijacks the production, and I guess they just go with it because she's going.
Choose the standing stone you feel most attracted to. Lean your chest, breathing deeply, and then your stomach against the stone.
I just want to point out that you brought me here to choose
We're
between
stone
two different
fucking.
stones, and this is the options.
Damn!
Is this a trap? Are you telling me to get spiritually
That stone
connected, I
can
gotta
get
eat ass? Oh, I'm eating ass just to spite you, dog woman. Give me the bum. Give me the bum stone.
Smell the scent of the mineral. When the scent turns into a flavor in your mouth.
When it turns into a flavor. Okay, so it's not even an if. This thing's just constantly flaking off. Fine notes of schist. That's nice.
You taste something in your mouth? I'm sure after a while, if you would do that more often, or you can do it also more often, because I guess there are also stones where you live.
Look, do what you gotta do, but please give all my spheres to my family. Don't leave them orbless. The conversion rate from euros is good. The moral of the story of this essentially is
this like...
Get your cults on discount.
Is this the cult leader's, like, sex thing? Like, he's into girls holding stones and, like, licking them and tasting the rocks? Like...
Trust me. Every time. Pussy.
Pussy? And that's the video.
Hey, everyone.
Wow.
Before we start today's video...
I learned a lot. I learned nothing at all. What the fuck just happened? All I know is that that one girl scared me really, really bad. And now I'm intimidated and scared. Okay, what the fuck is this? The front fell off.
Senator Collins, thanks for coming. Fell off.
Oh shit. Damn. Lucy Pyre fell off. I'm sorry! I'm sorry! I fucked up! I fucked up! I fucked up! I fucked
Senator Collins, thanks.
I'm sorry.
Thanks for coming in.
It's a great pleasure, thank you.
This ship that was involved in the
I gotta
incident
hydrate,
off Western
Redeem.
Australia this week.
Yeah, the one the front fell off?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not very typical. I'd like to make that point.
Well, how is it untypical?
Well, there are a lot of these ships going around the
Oh,
world
so
all the
good.
time, and very seldom does anything like this happen. I just don't want people thinking that tankers aren't safe.
Was this tanker safe?
Well, I was thinking more about the other ones.
The ones that are safe?
Yeah, the ones the front doesn't fall
Why
off.
does he talk
Well,
like
if this
that?
wasn't safe, why did it have 80,000 tons of oil on it?
Well, I'm not saying it wasn't safe. It's just perhaps not quite as safe as some of the other ones.
Why?
Well, some of them are built so the front doesn't fall off at all.
Well, wasn't this built so the front wouldn't fall off?
Well, obviously not.
How do you know?
Well, because the front fell off and 20,000 tons of crude oil spilled into the sea caught fire. It's a bit of...
This has the exact same energy as that one video where it's like, but metal is heavier than feathers. So metal's heavier than feathers.
a giveaway. I just like to make the point
Is the video at 2 times? No!
that is not normal.
Well, what sort of standards are these oil tankers built to?
Oh, very rigorous maritime engineering standards.
What sort of thing?
Well, the front's not supposed to fall off for a start.
And what other things?
Well, there are regulations governing the materials that they can be made of.
What materials?
Well, cardboard's out.
And?
No cardboard derivatives.
Like paper?
No paper. No string, no sellotape.
Rubber?
No, rubber's out. They've got to have a steering wheel. There's a minimum crew requirement.
What's the minimum crew?
Oh, one, I suppose.
So the allegations that they're just designed to carry as much oil as possible, the hell with the
ludicrous.
consequences, I mean, that's ludicrous.
Absolutely ludicrous. These are very, very strong vessels.
So what happened in this case?
Well, the front fell off in this case, by all means, but it's very unusual.
But Senator Collins, why did the front book fall off?
Well, a wave hit it.
A wave hit it?
A wave hit the ship.
Is that unusual?
Oh, yeah. At sea.
Is that unusual?
Chance in a million.
So what do you do to protect the environment in cases like this?
The ship was towed outside the environment.
Into another environment?
No, it's been towed beyond the environment.
What?
It's not in the environment.
No, but from one environment to another environment.
No, it's beyond the environment. It's not in
What?
an environment. It
Well,
has
it
been
must be
towed
somewhere.
beyond the environment.
Well, what's out there?
Nothing's out there.
Well, there must be something out
There
there.
is nothing out there. All there is sea and birds and fish.
And?
And 20,000 tonnes of crude oil.
And what else?
And a fire.
And anything else?
And the part of the ship that the front fell off. But there's nothing else out there.
Senator Collins, thanks for
It's a
joining
complete void.
Yeah, we're out of
The
time.
environment's perfectly safe. We're out of time?
Yeah.
Can you book me a cab?
But didn't you come in a Commonwealth car?
Yes, I did. But
What happened?
Is this a skit? Guys, is this yes? Okay. I'm feeling so much better. My God, there's nothing but political fucking thumbnails in the thing. Jesus. Anyway, this one is foods you shouldn't eat but technically can. I'm gonna eat all of them personally. Wait, this video talks about a lot of food that you should not eat. Federal law says don't eat it, pretty please. So basically, this is what YouTubers say when they're afraid that some child will watch their video and eat it anyway. I think YouTubers should stop being cowards and just allow the Darwin Awards to take place.
Hi, welcome to an
it's this
episode
girl
of
again.
Reasons Why I'm Not Allowed Outside Anymore. Even though I think we've all experienced the desire to eat things that aren't food. There's a subreddit in a TLC show that revolves around this desire, so it must be common. Of course, some of those things can end up being your last meal, but others you can technically safely consume on a semi-regular basis with
We have to do a dirt stream. We have to do a dirt stream. We have to do a dirt eating stream. I'm so serious.
no adverse effects. People might think you're a weirdo and your friends will start avoiding you, but you'll be physically unharmed. Today, we talk about these foods, which I have dubbed technically allowed snacks. Starting with trees. This is a fantasy of mine because of that one episode of Johnny Bravo where he gets served roasted sequoia by a handsome Amazonian woman.
I mean, would you take a bite though?
But to answer the question, can we straight up eat trees? I'll need to talk a bit about cellulose. See, unlike animal cells,
Oh, we're
plant
breaking
cells
it down,
have
okay.
cellulose, and what are those? Cellulose. And what's that? A bunch of glucose molecules. So it's basically a long chain of sugar, but also the main component of wood. That means we can eat it, right? Well, although cellulose has the same nutritional value and makeup as starch, which is edible and yummy, there's one major difference between them. The molecules are linked differently. So while you can technically eat cellulose, you will not digest it. Like, no, glucose molecules joined by beta linkage do not.
I mean, but like, you can eat corn, and I don't really think you digest that either, so why not eat a tree?
Agree with me. Shut the fuck. An example of this that you've definitely come across is seeing a random corn kernel on a floater. This happens because corn is encased in a shell made up of cellulose.
You stole
the
my
inside is starch,
joke!
but if you don't chew properly, you won't get to it. And the whole thing will just pass through. Animals like beavers, rabbits, and I don't know, squirrels probably, those fat fucks eat anything, have microorganisms in their gut that produce the
fat fuck
enzyme
squirrels.
cellulase.
Piss
They
me
get
off.
to eat wood. The only way you get to eat wood and not get indigestion.
I can think of a way you can eat wood without getting indigestion. I don't think that's where she's going.
It's through some sort of genetic manipulation of your gut bacteria. But here's some good
Yeah.
news. You can eat some tree safely. Not the bark, not the wood, but the part that's between them called the cambium. This is the nutritional elevator of the tree. It's both edible and digestible. You can't eat the cambium of
You're
all
dissecting
trees, but
the tree to
survivalist's
fucking eat it.
favorite
It's
are
kinda
white
metal.
pines, which are said to be the tastiest, and their needles are also a good source of vitamin C. Unfortunately, I found no workaround for cotton, which is pure cellulose, but grass, you can apparently
that's
eat
rough.
all the grass you want, baby. It's just not calorie dense enough for survival situations. That being said, for legal reasons, do not eat this. I'm not encouraging you to even try. Next, dirt.
So do you guys want to have like a tree grass eating dirt stream?
Dirt is another thing you can eat if you really
This
want to.
video gave me the
I've discovered
idea.
that many indigenous tribes and women on Etsy habitually consume clay. But just
Very
plain
often.
dirt can be dangerous and give you parasites, heavy metal poisoning, too much potassium disease.
Just walk it
and
off.
can
Just
also
walk off
block
the
your
parasites. It's
intestines.
fine.
A little bit of dirt, though, can actually be beneficial. Research has suggested that people who grow up on farms, for instance, have lower rates
can
of
do
Crohn's
it?
disease, asthma, and allergies. The
So I should do
desire to
it?
eat dirt may come from a condition known as pica, which is an eating disorder sometimes linked to nutritional deficiencies. But the medical term for eating dirt, which was first described by Hippocrates, is called geophagia. The practice is more common than you think, possibly because clay can absorb toxins and thus help a person with some stomach issues. Additionally, many pregnant women crave dirt in, I quote,
Guys, I know some anime girls, some VTubers who have tummy issues. Do you think I should just like put them on that dirt cleanse?
an instinctual effort to protect against harm from toxins and pathogens. Clay and dirt are easily digestible, but keep in
If it
mind, the people
works.
who eat dirt are eating clean or fresher from the subsurface of the ground, as bacteria and parasites are normally found in the topsoil. For legal reasons, do not eat this. I'm not encouraging you to even try. The next food/not really food is again me being far too influenced.
I just think that if you're not willing to get a tapeworm or two to try the dirt, you don't deserve to have the dirt. The dirt is a delicacy that the earth makes for us to consume, and if you're not willing to take the dirt for 100% of what it is, then you're not ready.
by cartoons. But listen, a whole ass
Thanks for the
beehive.
hydrate.
Now, I hate honey because it has the same flavor profile as an elderly woman's house, but honeycomb looks exquisite. And it's actually the
Honey's
optimal way
gross.
to consume honey. I know it'd be extremely dangerous to eat a whole hive with bees in it, but luckily in some Asian countries, a roasted honeycomb containing bee larvae is a type of street food. And you know I don't fuck around with the winter bulk. If I can get some extra protein and calories in my meal, that's a win. The same goes for the next food on the list. A whole banana. There is no dignity in eating a banana. It is a fruit meant to be eaten privately and in shame. Because first, you gotta peel it
Maybe
like
for
a little
you.
bitch looking for which end to start with. And I know some people even remove the little strings left from the peel, which are called phloem
Yeah, 'cause they're
bundles, by the
gross.
way. And much like the cambium that we talked about earlier, they transport nutrients and yes, are also very nutritious themselves. So if you're a real winter bulk alpha male like me, you're gonna eat the banana whole. Because banana peels have more fiber than the actual fruit, antioxidants, and an
Banana
additional
eating stream?
78.
I know what you're trying to do. I know what you're trying to fucking do. I see through you. I see through you. You are transparent. You are made of paper that is being held behind the bright sun with no clouds in the sky. I know exactly what you're aiming for. Now!
Grams of potassium. But here's the actual reason that they're on my list. The stickers. I really want to eat food stickers. That's the real intrusive thought here. Food stickers are not meant to be eaten, obviously, but they're food grade, which means they don't have
think
any
this girl
harmful
might be
chemicals
mentally
in them.
ill.
Oh, and the glue? Well, the FDA requires it be edible. So technically, you can peel off the sticker, lick it like a yogurt lid, and throw it away as you swallow the fruit whole, and you'll be fine. Possibly freak people out, but you'll be fine. And everyone else will just be impressed and envious of you. Also, speaking of edible adhesives, here's the amount of glue you can eat per day without getting in trouble, okay?
Bro, when I eat a banana just like regularly, sometimes the texture will make me like you know, like I'm being dead ass. I'm trying to imagine what the texture of eating a full banana with the peel and everything would feel like, and I don't think I would be able to swallow. I think I would just bleh.
Do not eat glue, but you technically can, but don't eat it. Although, no. Now, the next item on the list I consider to be the final boss of things you shouldn't eat but can.
Gag?
Perhaps
Yes.
because it's the most against you eating it. Silica gel packets. Silica gel is a form of silicon dioxide, a powerful moisture
I have
absorbing
wanted to eat
substance,
these
and what I once thought to be the
intrusive
most
thoughts.
toxic thing known to man. Like, I would thoroughly wash my hands after touching the packet just in case there was a breach and I accidentally came into contact with one of the balls. But silica gel is chemically inert. Your body is not going to break it down, it will just pass through. The real danger here is actually choking. So it is in fact best if you do get it down to your stomach. The same kind of goes for styrofoam. Styrofoam is the commercial name for polystyrene, a petroleum-based chemical compound.
Shadi, why do they put it in things? The silica gel. What is the silica gel doing that they put it in there? I'm curious. I don't actually know what it does. Keeps it dry, absorbs moisture, dry, removes water. So I shouldn't be throwing away the packets. So that's why some of my old Gamer Subs cans got ruined, because I threw away the silica packets inside of them. Naruhodo!
Although many petroleum products will give you hydrocarbon poisoning, styrofoam does not break down and it cannot be absorbed into your body. The only risk here is once again choking. So petroleum-based cottage cheese, technically allowed. And now, it's not harmful for you to eat it, but it is harming the environment. The new age packing peanuts that look like corn puffs
I don't like styrofoam. I don't like the way it feels.
Made out of cornstarch. So you'll actually have an easier time eating those, just like nature will have an easier time breaking them down. So non-toxic, eco-friendly Cheeto Puffs, double allowed. For legal reasons, do not eat this. I'm not encouraging you to even
Poopy
Finally,
warning.
last but not least, these magical rocks. This
I
is
thought she was gonna
bismuth.
say these
it's
nuts.
It's one of the least toxic heavy metals, and
Now that
although you
does look
can't eat
tasty.
too much of it, bismuth is the active ingredient.
I know this shit tastes like fucking Skittles and a fruit roll-up all in one. Maybe even throw some nerds in there. Some fucking sweet tarts.
Ingredients in Pepto-Bismol. But more importantly, you know how it was really fashionable to eat gold a few years ago? There were all those BuzzFeed videos where they try foods at different price
So
points,
stupid.
and the last food is always mid, but it's covered in gold leaf. If this trend re-emerges, but instead of gold it's bismuth flakes, I feel like I'd be more interested in food that's already fighting against heartburn as I'm eating it. For legal reasons, do not eat this. I'm not encouraging it. That was all the not food foods I wanted to talk about today. Comment which one sounds the tastiest to you, or maybe share a forbidden snack
and dirt. We should eat bismuth and dirt together, chatty. I can't wait until we're finally able to actually go through with that idea. Lucy, look out, there's a monster behind you. What? I just think you're so fucked up and evil for saying that my good friend Dawe is a monster. Look at her. She clearly has a fucking disability. She's a hunchback fucking whale. Look at her. Oh, you have to look out, Lucy, it's a monster. You think I won't ban you? Just because you're making fun of people that aren't me? Just because you're putting another woman down to make me look better? No, I can't stand for this shit. I have to stand up for them. I have to take care of them. It is my purpose in life. Poor Dawe, man. Poor fucking Dawe. I feel bad for her, dealing with this shit all the time. Being a hunchback whale is hard. Okay, lore revelations in the shadow of the Erd Tree. Wait, shit, this is 35 minutes long? I'll come back to this one later. AMV, Lucy Pyre's Elden Ring DLC arc? Oh my god, convenient. Convenient. Oh no, what is this? Chatty, was that you? Did you cry like this when you saw that I finally beat it? Was this your face? Covered in snot? Covered in tears? Very cute, AMV. I liked it. Oh. I keep forgetting I'm not signed in on what I use to like watch videos on stream anymore. But I liked it. It was really good. Thank you. Moo Pyre Virgin Killer Sweater Edition. Oh my god, you people move so fast. And by you people, I mean GMP. Holy shit! Can I show this on Twitch? Guys, just so you know, I'm not embarrassed like this IRL. I'm super confident and being so sexy. And I know that I'm just like the sexiest ever. And so if I was wearing this, not even a second of like embarrassment. Unless I was doing it like for the bit. I would be doing this. Oh no, I'm too sad. Like for the bit, guys, for the bit. I'm definitely not shy to wear things like that at all. Pokemon commission risk level. This thumbnail looks really promising.
There are people with a wide variety of tastes in the world.
Yes.
It is an artist's role to fulfill people's requests.
And desires.
I thought so. I was arrogant. They categorize their weird desires by risk level.
What?
The level G is standard. Draw a pretty girl. There is no problem at all in fulfilling their request. The Pokemon world is filled with fascinating characters.
True. That's some good animation.
Next level F, Gardevoir.
Damn, we really went from 0 to at least 10.
Draw a Gardevoir. This is the first step to becoming a able. They
God
like Pokemon
damn!
more than human girl. They always say,
Oh!
It's perfectly normal to love Gardevoir. Next level E, Furry. The boy who was once purely into Pokemon has become a weird adult. Lopunny, Lucario, Zoro.
Who fucking submitted this to the Reddit? Are you trying to turn me into a furry? Is this like a conversion therapy thing that you're trying to do to me?
Okay,
I won't fall for it.
Next level D. They make a more detailed and specific request. Concept, posing,
Is it
posture,
working?
expression, character.
No, because everything that I like about these is all the parts that are like reminiscent of human. Like there's nothing about the paws and the fur that turns me on. Okay? That's why I'm not into the fucking furry shit. I'd rather it just be a cute anime girl.
Their Pokemon are already lying in their beds.
Hey, congrats on becoming a champion. Which Pokemon are you planning to catch with your Master Ball?
Girlfriend. Next level C.
That's a legendary.
They're really into evolution.
Ah!
They like Pokemon
Wumbo,
that stay
welcome.
true to the original. If that Pokemon were bipedal, their faces would be full of disgust, and they would lose interest. Level B is a bit risky.
Oh
They are
no.
already married to a Pokemon.
Oh Oh.
Planning to have kids. If you have a
What
friend like
fucking
that,
Pokemon is that?
use the repel and run. Level A is a pretty dangerous. There was a man who consistently wanted a female Machamp.
No, I get
Was he
this
even
one. I
human?
get this one.
He wants to be dominated by a Pokemon.
I understand.
This is confidential. Level
Oh.
S has been unveiled recently.
That's
if you ever find a Typhlosion with a lot of berries, run away.
Is that why they didn't let him in the new game? Because of his recent starring in this? He's... Oh my god, they fired him. Bro, he got canceled.
Away immediately.
Chatty, I think I'm even more confused by furries. This person's art, whoever made this art though, is like very, very talented, very talented. I just think that the art style would be even better if it were anime girls and not furry Pokemon creatures. I'm just saying, but you know, respect to the art where it's due. It's quite good, you know. I liked it. This one is why do men like swords? Again, I think I must be a man because I like swords myself.
Why do men like swords? We've loved swords all throughout history.
Wait, that's too fast. Me when I think that it's not gonna be too fast, but then it's too fast.
Like thousands of years worth of history.
They're playing
Well,
the
sure, we like
Undertale
them 'cause
song!
They're long and pointy and they stab things. There's got to be more to it than that, right? This is a rabbit hole that's been festering in my mind.
An
since I
extension of
started
the
trying
dick.
to write this video like over a year ago.
That's
but
my
in order
theory.
to understand why men like swords, we need to
That's
start at square one.
DuckTales?
See,
What are you talking about? Why does it sound like an Undertale song? If you don't like swords, then you're wrong. Well, yes, that's beyond the point. DuckTales is Undertale. DuckTales moon theme. 8-bit music all sounds the same. Runs away. I'm literally going to lose my mind. I'm going to lose my mind. Somebody would be able to find the song that I am fucking talking about that sounds like an Undertale song. I'm not Delulu.
I think about swords at least once a day. Whether it be the Romans building an empire, Anakin
It no longer
Skywalker
sounds familiar,
defending
by the way. I
Republic,
think it's just the
or even
intro.
an unnamed warrior fighting to defend his honor. I know I'm not the only one, right? Please say you or your boyfriend does this too. But again, why?
Who called
When
it an
does this
Undertale
start?
song?
Well,
guys, keep fucking quiet. I can't lose a subscriber. I'm sorry. Times are tough. Don't expose me. Shut the hell up.
I think this is a fascination we develop in childhood, the
No
good old
shit.
formative years. The time of our lives when all the armchair therapists on TikTok say is the most important in molding who we become. A time where I
believe
was
them.
allowed to freely run around outside and hit things with sticks without being judged. At some point, every man has been a little boy. Everything around us was an adventure or property damage.
Chatty? You used to be a child? You're giving me the ick right now. I'm sorry. That you used to be a kid? Yeah, no. I have the ick now. I'm sorry. It's over. I can't believe that you weren't always just like a grown man.
Waiting to happen. While roaming through the woods or a park or a yard, we could find objects that were usually sticks to build grandiose stories around. And every kid had a different tale to tell. Some of us wanted to be leaders and kings, others brilliant space warriors, saving the day. That was me. And of course, having a heroic last stand crosses every young man's
Why is he not considering the weeb who wanted to be a samurai? I wanted to be a samurai until I learned more about samurais. Now I don't want to be a samurai anymore.
mind at least once, or twice, or constantly, usually in the shower. Despite the unlimited possibilities presented to us when we played pretend, we all were, in essence, doing the same thing. No matter where in the world you live or when, I'm sure you were drawn to a cool-looking stick that you wanted to swing around at least once. As boys, we weren't making conscious decisions based on consequences.
Chatty, did you have a stick?
We just instinctively did that. Today, we focus so much on what makes us different, and we're always told as kids, at least here in America, that we are unique individuals. But this common fascination with swords is so cool because it ignores all of that.
Aw,
When we
they
reach
had
for
the
that little wooden
stick.
stick, there's no thoughts in our heads about morality and virtue until that sword hits your hand and it becomes a weapon that could face down armies. You decide who you're protecting and who your enemy is, even if it's the hero. I always pretended I was a Jedi fighting in the Clone Wars.
Chatty, if you hold the sword, that makes you the hero. There is no choosing to fight and kill the hero. If you have sword, automatically, you are the main character.
Decided he was also a bounty hunter because that made sense in my head. It didn't matter that being a bounty hunter conflicts with the Jedi Code. I didn't understand that yet. And I think that's okay. When we're young, we can tell stories entirely unrestricted by realism, and that's cool. But that doesn't mean the swords we were swinging weren't real. I mean, just ask my brother's
You can
hands.
beat the shit out of somebody with a stick.
Yikes. Zero regret about that, by the way. It's his fault for not being fast enough to dodge. If you grew up in the early 2000s, you remember these demonic but awesome, nearly indestructible.
My brother never beat me with a stick, but he would want to practice wrestling moves on me and then would end up beating the shit out of me that way.
Destructible lightsabers that, in hindsight,
there
probably
was no
should not have been
stick.
sold to kids. And as we grew and saw more movies, learned history, and read books, this love of swords was cemented more and more. All right, I'm guessing mostly dudes clicked on this video, but if you are a girlfriend, ask your man if he watched a movie with a sword in it as a kid. If there is anyone who didn't, they are lying. I myself went through a pretty
Isn't
intense
that everyone,
phase, as I
though?
think a lot of kids did, because of this fella and these guys. Don't worry, I'll talk about him later. I think I speak for all of us when I say we wanted to imitate the characters who inspire us. Characters like Luke Skywalker, Percy Jackson.
I think my first ever sword media was Legend of Zelda. That was the first one. I would watch my siblings play Ocarina of Time, and then I fell in love with Link. He was everything to me, you know?
Jackson
He
and
still
Aragorn.
is.
Sometimes it's because we related to these characters, and other times it's because we wanted to be these characters. I'm sure some of us saw these characters as an escape, but it's
We should all
want to
be Link.
These characters take up the sword for a purpose, and when they do that, they become something more. The sword itself is like a beacon of what we can do when we find our purpose, which throughout childhood and even adulthood is something that we're
Did he
desperate
influence
for.
your taste,
Men
then?
love
Guys, you don't even want to know. Okay? I was practically raised by my two elder siblings, both of them being guys, and they all watched anime, played games, and listened to emo music. Gee, I wonder, does that sound like anyone that you know?
swords, because a sword is a symbolism, every English teacher's favorite thing. And while usually I think those teachers give the authors too much credit, symbolism, when it applies to real life, is different. When you think of a sword, what is the first thing that comes to mind? If I had to guess, it's probably a fictional character fighting for their ideals. Why is that? Why don't we immediately think of the negatives? I mean, a sword.
Chatty, when you think of sword, what's the first thing that comes to your mind? Me, I think of stabbing. I don't know why. I just think of just like psh, stabbing somebody in the stomach with a sword. I don't really think of somebody fighting for their ideals. I'm just like slice them, stab them.
Sword is an instrument of
Swing
death.
it.
People used to say, put him to
Stabby,
the sword when
stabby,
talking
stabbing.
about
See, everyone thinks of
execution. But
stabbing.
it's because the sword is also a symbol of strength. To understand what I mean, I want to take a look at a fictional character that you may be familiar with. Guts. Now for reference,
Guts.
I have not
I need to
finished
read Berserk.
In fact, I have another video in the works about why I've taken so long to finish it. But
What
what's
the
more
fuck?
masculine than this? He has a sword bigger than Kevin Durant.
What kind of fucking video is this? Is why I haven't finished Berserk yet.
Hey, chill, bro. Focus on the video. Desire for strength is a core part of the male experience. We all want to be big and strong at some point, and Guts represents the peak of human strength. That thing about Kevin Durant, a 6'11 monster, wasn't a joke. Guts' sword is 7 feet long and weighs an amount that I can't comprehend
Man,
because my brain...
I know it's technically a sword, but like, I don't know, maybe I never think of these big ass pieces of shit when I think of swords. These are, claymores are different to me. Like a two-handed sword has a different vibe to me than like a one-handed sword. And whenever I think of swords, I always think of one-handed and like a shield in the other hand, or just like a sword and no shield with one hand. But maybe that's because I'm insane.
7 feet long and weighs an amount that I can't comprehend because my brain hates numbers. And he swings the sword like it's nothing, cutting down everything that gets in the way of his mission. The persistence Guts shows when his body is broken, yet he still chooses to swing his sword is awe-inspiring. And there are very few characters that represent this so perfectly. Don't worry, buddy. I'll get to you in a second. But the sword doesn't just symbolize physical strength.
What
it
is that
represents
editing?
emotional strength. The symbolic act of taking up the sword often represents a conviction to march
Who is this
onward
bitch?
no
She's
matter
kinda hot.
what. In Guts' case, he seems like a character who at first glance doesn't have a choice. If you
Oh,
aren't
he's-
familiar with him, please read Berserk. But to sum it up, at least where I'm at in the story, if Guts stops fighting, then his demons will consume him. And he needs to keep fighting. Keep wielding his sword for the sake of the people around him. He makes
He's a
that
man's
choice.
man.
The choice to keep going.
I fight to fight off my demons.
The choice to struggle onward. Call it toxic masculinity if you want to, but the idea that a good man, protects those around him and doesn't place his burdens on others permeates our culture. And that's fine.
Why would that be
kind
toxic?
of strength is important. Of course, strength isn't the only thing that a sword symbolizes. A sword is a symbol of
power.
Strength and power are different. Strength.
Wrong, because Ganon doesn't use a sword, and he has the Triforce of Power. And Link uses a sword, and he's the Triforce of Courage. So it is not a symbol of power, it is a symbol of courage.
Is
Get it
physical
right.
and emotional. It almost always comes back to you.
Ganon
You
does
are
use
the
swords.
center. How?
Oh yeah, he does. I remember him mostly for the mechanic where he's playing tennis with you in Ocarina of Time. And he's just like using magic and shit. Or is it a sword? I just think of Ganon in Melee and Smash as well, and he's just fucking fist-pilled.
Power is when you affect the world. Power is when you can assert yourself, your will. Throughout history, swords have been a symbol of nobility. A noble lord or king may learn the art of the sword not because it's the most effective option, but because of what it represents.
His taunt brings
if they
out
wanted
a
to be
sword.
effective on the battlefield, they just
Yeah, I
use
show
a
my
pole
cock
arm
to taunt
anyway.
bitches
Way
too.
easier to learn and way better to kill people with. But instead, the sword is the weapon that became synonymous with leadership, with status, because the people who wielded the sword commanded power. This becomes even more true as we begin to look at the rise of the firearm. Swords were still carried by high-ranking officers, despite bullets being objectively more dangerous.
Because swords
even
are
if anime
prettier.
tells us otherwise. Because men love swords. But enough history lessons.
True.
Let's look at a perfect example of the power that comes with the sword. Power and
I want a
fear
real katana.
incarnate.
I want a real katana. I want a real katana.
No character commands the screen quite like Darth Vader. Look at this. Look at it. His presence.
I'm sorry, Chatty, but like ever since you put that one video on Reddit where they made a katana, it's just been lingering in the back of my mind, and now I have it in my head that one day I'm going to buy a real bona fide made in Japan katana, which is quite possibly one of the stupidest things I
his
could do with my
aura.
money.
There's nothing quite like it. Vader is the epitome of power, and despite being the bad guy, he's a character that a lot of us, deep down, wish we could be like. Vader walked.
Chatty, press 1 if you want to be like Vader, press 2 if you don't. I'm just curious. 1 1 1 1 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 1 1 1 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 1 1. That's like a 50-50, I think. Maybe a couple more 2s in there. I just thought that like Darth Vader had like a lot of bad shit that happened to him, so I wouldn't really want to be like him. 60, thank you for the 31 months. I appreciate it. Blah blah.
Into a scene and the characters pay attention. The audience pays attention.
He has R
Because
though?
if
Yeah, he
and
has an
when
R farmer.
Vader ignites his blade, there will be consequences. In Revenge of the Sith, Vader becomes
will
who
be
he is because of the
consequences.
purpose he had in picking up his sword. Vader was desperate to protect the person he cared about most and believed he needed power to do it. And power is what he got, even if he failed.
What have I done?
I like how
Vader's
they
not
turned a
emotionally
femboy into
strong.
Darth
In fact,
Vader.
he's the opposite, but most people don't differentiate between power and strength. We see a character like Vader able to affect the world around him, free to impose his will on almost everyone. And that's appealing. There's a reason there's a whole genre built
Oh.
around the idea of the power fantasy. And the sword is a
Nah, this guy's just like, I want to control everyone. I want to have power to do whatever the fuck I want to people. That's me. That's my fucking fantasy. I mean, he's just coming out and saying
perfect
it.
symbol of that. I hate to break it to you.
What was
but
that
the world doesn't
reenactment?
care about you. They don't see you unless you command respect or influence. And it's because of this that people like Vader, who wield the sword in pursuit of power, are in a way inspiring. But that's not the only way to gain respect in this world. As I mentioned during our little history lesson, the sword, like most arts, takes years to master. And because of that, the sword is a symbol of I am going to talk about
are they
One
playing
Piece.
the Wii
Considering
music
that
in the
One Piece
back?
and Star Wars are basically my entire personality, it's only fitting that Zoro is the next example we talk about when we discuss why men like swords. Laziness.
Okay, honestly, full disclosure, although it's not really full disclosure because everyone knows this about me already, that I haven't seen One Piece. Zoro looks really cool. He's the one character in One Piece that I see him and I'm like, that guy, it seems like he's cool. Seems like a cool dude.
Sucks. It doesn't feel
Hydration?
good.
You haven't
We
seen it?
thrive
I
when we
said
confront
this
things that are
all the
hard, and when we're
time!
determined to grow and be
It's
better,
not news!
life is good, but it's hard to do. Scary even.
Nice.
Failure is terrifying. I mean, it can even be paralyzing. The power of anxiety. But even
I have
then,
a lot
we
of
still
that.
jump out of our seats when we see people or characters work hard to attain their goals. And in fiction, the best examples of this are the sword masters themselves.
Chatty, is this how you feel about me when you see me go live, even though I'm dying on the inside? Is it like watching a sports person like make the touchdown despite all the odds being against them?
Characters who train their craft despite constantly getting ego checked and beaten down. Characters who have a
I'm
goal.
feeling parasocial.
In Zoro's case, to be the strongest swordsman. Minor spoilers for anyone who hasn't seen One Piece past episode 30. Skip to here if you want. Zoro sees how hard this path is almost immediately. He talks constantly about how he's almost at the top of the mountain.
Why does he hold it in his mouth like that, though?
And then the strongest shows up.
I know that shit
and
hurts.
almost kills him with a toothpick. After a defeat like that, almost anyone would give up. And a lot of people do. But not Zoro. The sword he wields won't let him. His sword, his purpose is too strong. Do you understand how motivating it is to see others succeed? This is just one of the few scenes that make people love this character. Zoro in particular is a guy who uses swords in a world where people can turn into dragons and literal light. And when 2 wasn't enough, he said, screw it, I'll use 3. The sword is tied to this incredible cycle of
that's why he
defeat,
does
hard work
that.
and persistence, and victory that I feel compelled to emulate in my day-to-day life. And I think it speaks to all of us a little bit. This hits us in our core. Once again, I need to mention that there is a societal pressure on men to work hard and provide for the people around us. And characters like Zoro do that. Zoro takes the burdens of those that depend on him.
He's bleeding
because
as
he
fuck.
knows
He's
they
dead.
would
He's
do
dead.
the
He did not
same.
recover.
All of these characters represent pieces of a whole. All of these aspects are
This video
critical
making me
to the
motivated to buy a sword? Do it now!
experience. But that's just it. They're pieces. Ideals of a common experience we share. And when you put the pieces together, it makes you realize the sword is...
Me.
The sword is crafted over time. It requires different materials.
The sword is you. You are the sword.
Being fused together in fire. It's hammered into place over and over, ground down until finally it begins to take shape. As it does, it hardens, but even then, it still needs to be refined and tempered. Time to talk about Percy Jackson. That one came out of left field, didn't it? Don't worry, it'll make sense in a second. Before anime, there was Percy Jackson and the Olympians. This character is, in all honesty, probably why I like...
How old is Percy fucking Jackson? Huh? I thought anime was before Percy Jackson. Am I Delulu?
Swords. These books define my childhood. Percy
I
was a
love these
character
books,
who was
though.
built
They're
to be
very good.
relatable to the kids who read about him. He was ADHD, hated school, didn't fit in until he found friends that were like him, and of course he was a troublemaker because of it. The story of this kid who becomes a hero and the adventures this character went on with his sword Riptide, which was a pen that could become a sword, were so cool and thrilling that I would often imagine myself doing the same thing. Unlike a lot of the characters we talked about who hold a
cringe?
significant symbolic meaning of an ideal, Percy doesn't. He wasn't an ideal, not a representation of who I...
What do characters and books and movies that achieve great things even matter to us if we aren't supposed to idolize them and want to be like them and use them as a motivation to do our own shit in life? That's what they're there for.
wanted to be. He's
Why
the
else should they
character who I saw my
exist?
current self in. And oddly enough, even though I'm like 3 times older now, I still do. He was an impatient kid who rose to responsibility when it was forced on him. And as he got older, he found his purpose to take up the sword. Wow, that sounds familiar. Almost like...
I gotta say, though, the casting for the TV show's a little weird. Like, I'm so used to the Percy being drawn as a character with, like, really dark hair, and then he's, like, blonde with curls in the TV show?
Ezio and Altair are
I think it was a movie.
fan-favorite
He's
characters
showing
from
both.
Assassin's
There's both.
Creed
There's 2.
Because we get to understand their purpose in taking up the sword. We get to see these characters grow through hardship and come to
thought they used
realizations about the
daggers.
creed and even redefine what it means. I should probably explain the creed to anyone who isn't a hyper nerd like me. The creed these characters follow is simple. Stay your blade from the flesh of an innocent, hide in plain sight, and never compromise the brotherhood. All of that,
They
though,
use
is usually
everything?
boiled down to this. Nothing is true. Everything is permitted. These characters grapple with these 6 words and the meaning and irony of the creed
The
throughout
outfits
their
look really
journeys.
cool.
And
I've always thought that
once
about
again,
Assassin's Creed.
These characters mimic the swords they wield. They're forged and tempered over and over again throughout their stories until they find who they are meant to be, until they come to their own understanding of those words. The assassins are neat to use for this metaphor because in a way, they are just swords in a crowd. Swords that fight for the—
Can't see shit though. You don't need to see shit. They're vibing it out. They're wearing this, they're fucking aura farming, and they're vibing it out. You don't need to see when you're basically using tough powers from Avatar: The Last Airbender, and you're just able to see where everything is, like, through your fucking mind.
Innocent and protect the personal freedom of the people. Their purpose is strong, and I love that. The point I want to make in this section about symbolism is that the sword reflects its wielder. At its core, a sword is the same as you and me. It evolves and grows into what it's meant to be.
The Master
so
Sword!
It's not weighed down by responsibility or anxiety until a wielder picks it up. But
Clouds,
obviously,
oh my
we never
God.
actually think about this stuff. Instead, we just—
I thought he was gonna draw the Buster Sword, and instead he's drawing like this fruity fucking bejeweled shit.
Until a wielder picks it up. But obviously, we never actually think about this stuff. Instead, we just naturally gravitate towards it. Time to throw numbers at you. According to a survey done by Japan's Weekly Famitsu, of the top 10 most used weapons in Elden Ring, 5 of the top 10 were—
Yes! Yes! As it should be! As it should be! Katanas 841? It should be higher!
swords. Eurogamer also says the same thing about Skyrim, because, duh, anyone with a working frontal lobe can see the popularity of swords compared to other weapons. I know I just spent like 15 minutes telling you that we like swords because of deep symbolism, but I also just want to say, all these answers I got from my friends,
yeah,
they're right. Swords are cool.
Cool!
Just like how ideals come together to make a person, each piece of a sword just perfectly comes together to make such an awesome thing. The blade of a sword does so much to influence the coolness
Do not
factor.
call a keyblade a
Space
sword.
Blew my mind as a kid because it had a black blade and it was crafted from a meteor, a space rock. That's awesome.
Cool.
Or look at this curved sword Thranduil used in The Hobbit.
cool.
And don't get me started on the absolute icon that is the Master Sword. Look at that sleek silver blade. And it even glows when near evil, dude. Like, that's awesome. Speaking of glowing, there's also the Moonlight Greatsword from FromSoft Games that just, it just hits different. The blade of a sword is obviously the biggest part, which is why it's so important in defining its coolness factor. But I feel like a lot of people conflate cool with edgy, and that is a whole different video. Thanks, Sasuke. But there is validity to that. Blades like Rivers of Blood or the Sword of Night from Elden Ring.
Yeah! Rivers of Blood! It's not edgy, it's cool. What's edgy about that, guys? What, just, oh, something can't be red and black without being edgy? Oh, it's red and black, so that automatically makes it hella edgy? No, it's cool, and it's pure. It's pure.
Are among some of the absolute coolest katanas I've ever seen.
Yes, it is a Lucy-coated
with more
sword.
ornate designs like Dark Drinker from Destiny and the Blades of Chaos from
Now
God
that one
of
looks
War
stupid.
linger in the minds of players even after over a decade. Yeah, Taken King was 10 years ago, buddy. You're getting old. Video games are great at having unique blade designs because they don't need to be practical. It's not like an actor swinging it around. And because of that, we also get swords that are somewhat cartoony, like Stygius or
I kind of have a problem because I like the ridiculous designs of things, but I also have a guilty pleasure where I enjoy videos where people are like, I am a person who professionally does X thing in real life. Let me talk about if Y thing gets it right. I don't know why I like these.
or the energy sword, or even the most iconic gaming sword, the diamond sword itself.
Yeah, gun blades. Those
ask
don't work in
questions,
real
the
life,
diamond
believe
sword
it or
won't show
not.
up on
I know
the
it's
damn green
shocking.
screen. We even sometimes get blends of
Fucking
cartoony
vroom
and
vroom,
edgy
go
with
away.
things like Cloud's Buster Sword and the Lich King's Blade from WoW. It's obviously not just video games, though, where
Sick.
unrealistic but awesome swords can exist. In anime, sword blades can shine too, and this is where we really see a nice blend. Yoru keeps the black blade theme, but it has some other special flair we'll get to in a bit.
This
Emiya's
fucking
dual
hilt is
swords
so
from
big.
Fate have this really cool yin-yang aesthetic that really sets them
Sick.
apart. And you can't forget about that one exists, but I think Excalibur Morgan, which is the evil one, is better. It's got these really cool red circles on a black blade.
You gotta split them up too. Okay, now he's actually playing like a fucking Undertale song. Now he's actually playing it like for real this time. But you have to split it up. She goes, Ekusu Kariba!
blade that just scream coolness. Sword Art Online had this black blade I loved as a kid, but I still think this green one is just so much better. It really has just such a unique feel to it. I'd be committing a criminal act if I didn't mention Bleach in a video about swords, so I'm mentioning Bleach. Zangetsu, Zabimaru, Senbonzakura, Fire Sword, whose name I'll butcher, so I'm just not gonna. All of these are excellent examples of why men love swords. They're cool. If I keep going, this section's gonna be too long. Oh.
Men love swords. Well, I asked my Discord why they liked swords, and they said because they're cool. Oh God, I'm sorry, bro. I'm sorry for pausing there. Chapstick.
Okay.
Consider
but
it.
I need to give a final shout out to any of Finn's swords from Adventure Time.
This is why I'm a VTuber, because if I had like chapped lips, you would know. You don't need to know my business like that.
Magnificent. So despite me rambling like a madman back there, the blade is only half of the coolness. A good hilt and pommel can really do something special for a sword. Every dude has a mental image of their sword, and they know what the hilt looks like. My katana has a sapphire in the hilt and a silver dragon at the end of the handle that looks like the Ninjago fire sword. The best example of this is lightsabers. Yeah, I'm gonna lose my mind here. Obi-Wan's hilt especially is just chef's kiss. With the textured black and the metal accents and the, I don't know what you call them, but this stuff right here, like the that, yeah. And the almost royal aesthetic on Mace Windu's. Samuel Jackson cooked when he picked his lightsaber. To contrast it, the simplicity of Kit Fisto's and
looks so funny.
Still have just
this image is so funny. I'm sorry, like this. Me when I'm a little kid and I'm forced to talk to the big dick man head tumor in his brain.
Contrast it, the simplicity of Kit Fisto's and Qui-Gon's still have just so much charm. Qui-Gon's especially was my favorite as a kid, and God, I wish I still had that toy. It was the first one I got, and it was just, thanks, Dad. You're goated.
Thanks, Dad.
Why did I point up? He's not dead.
My dad never got me a sword.
The absolutely perfect Luke Skywalker hilt, because if I do, I will be here for 30 minutes. If you think about it, lightsaber blades are kind of boring. Most of them are the same. No, not talking about you. Leave. The hilts, though. The hilts define these swords, and if they...
Close your eyes. Gay man or man extremely enthusiastic about swords?
You leave. The hilts, though. The hilts define these swords, and if they all look the same, I doubt we'd have the same level of love for them. There's a reason we fantasize about building one, and you can pay tons of money at Disney World to do it.
Whoa, you can pay tons of money at Disney World to buy a dick!
Don't judge me. Outside of Star Wars, there's some great examples, too. Jon Snow's Longclaw
Vroom,
from Game of
vroom.
Thrones is the first one to come to mind from recent pop culture, but a few from when I was young are Peter's sword from Narnia, and of course, Godric Gryffindor's sword from Harry Potter. These hilts all perfectly represent their wielders with the pommel's iconography. Without them, they'd just be generic swords. But instead, Jon's sword hangs on the back wall of the Big Bang Theory and is instantly recognizable. Yoru from One Piece stands out because of the over-designed nature of the blade and the hilt coming together to make
over-designed.
this, well, Homelander?
It was perfect.
This is the guy who drinks milk, right?
Down to the last minute details.
I can't stress enough that the design of a sword is crucial to its coolness level, and it's vital to why men love them. But there's one more thing that makes men like swords so much. It's because we have one. Ha ha ha, dick joke. Ha ha ha. Thanks for watching.
I can't believe he took to the entire fucking video to finally make that joke. If it were me, I would have played my card at the very beginning because I have no restraint and I'm very bad at writing and I'm just not funny. So, you know what? Kudos to you. Good job on that one. You held it in there. Good one. Yeah. Sad Kalkini Moo Pyre. I'm sorry? Underbuild is banned on Twitch? So I will look at this one instead. Wow, why am I? It looks like I'm on a plate. Chatty, are you going to consume my fucking flesh? Are you going to eat me? Please don't eat me, Chatty. I need to be alive so I can live and exist. I hope that makes sense. I hope you can forgive me for it. Okay, somebody sent me this, and I promise you, Chatty, I did not fucking find it myself. Somebody else submitted it. I am not coping for being bad at a game. I don't even know what's in the video yet.
The final boss is poorly designed in Shadow of the Erdtree. It's not because Radahn is too hard, it's why he's hard.
No,
I
well,
think
he
most
is
people
too
would
hard,
complain
but,
first
you know.
about his damage, but that's not my gripe with the boss.
Oh,
It's
he's
the
dead.
hitboxes.
Damn.
Just like the Star Scourge of the base game, Radahn is plagued by artificial difficulty. The difference is that I think it's done intentionally this time. I think they just...
Wait, I didn't even know. Wait, that's so fucking funny. Oh my god, it's 10 light years away from him, and he already took damage.
I think it's done intentionally this time. I think they just wanted to make the fight harder. The collision boxes sometimes need to be bigger than the blade just to make sure it properly collides, but I don't think the hitbox should be longer than the blade. I said the same thing in my Maidenless run against Melania. It felt like I was punished for properly spacing. Radahn's are even worse because his swords are already so huge, and the collider is both too far in front and too far above. It seems like they wanted to punish jump attack spammers and force tighter dodge windows.
Well, I'm here to tell you, it doesn't matter if you're a jump attack spammer or not, because I've never used jump attack in my whole entire time playing Elden Ring, probably, because I didn't know how to do it right, because I'm not smart, and I still got my ass handed to me.
I don't think there's anything wrong with those intentions, but achieving it through misleading visuals never feels good. The final boss is poorly...
I mean, my main gripes with the fight, I think, were the second phase. I actually think the first phase is fine. It's fine. It's fine. I think it's fine, especially because if I literally managed to get through the first phase without needing to summon the Mimic, then I think the first phase is probably fine. Maybe it's fine after the nerfs. I don't know if it was worse or whatever. The fucking stage itself having different elevations, which could fuck with, like, your roll, was pretty bad. The attacks that... I feel like some of the attacks... I'm gonna say it's a skill issue on my part at the same time, but you also have to admit a lot of them are telegraphed really fucking weirdly, and it's hard to tell what you're supposed to do to dodge them, like, just intuitively. Like the one where he does everything in rapid succession. And then the light spam, sometimes it's hard to see because of the light spam. And then this last one, his fucking hair. His fucking hair, dude. When he's turned around and his hair is facing you, you have no fucking idea what he's doing because it blocks everything. It is that fucking big. It is that big, dude. Jesus Christ. Anyway, other than that, I mean, the fight is totally fine. I'm just weak. I'm just bad. I don't know what this video is. It says how trying became cool again, and people are talking about cringe stuff in there, so we're gonna watch it.
Wow, yeah, this is the most try-hard intro of all time. Just started like everyone else in front of a microphone, man. Okay, yeah, that's better. About a month ago, an artist named Dawe went viral for her talk show performance. This set had her and two other girls with elaborate hair, choreography, rapping really well. And the biggest tweet that came from this
How did she find doppelgangers of herself?
was making those Harriet Tubman music is the cheat code for getting respected in rap. Now, this is an amazing tweet. This is just an amazing combination of words. This random assortment of words specifically chosen to piss people off. I gotta give it to you. This is a work of art. But this is part of an attitude.
It's gotta be rage bait, right? It's gotta be rage bait.
That has been around for a while now. Don't do too much. This performance had nothing to do with politics, Harriet Tubman, slavery, nothing. She kind of just assumed that from the amount of effort that was being put in. Over time, it has become uncool to just try, like just to put in some effort. Don't do too much, okay? It's embarrassing. Just be nonchalant, be cool, be effortless. This has made everything boring. Everyone is too...
There are people who really feel this way. People who really believe this. It's true. It's like a fucking disease.
Too scared to try because that would be vulnerable. And I feel like only now are we seeing a shift back to people putting in effort and being rewarded for it. But more on that later. How did we even get here?
I just gotta say, Chappelle Roan kind of looks like a clown, like a jester. Like the king looks over at her and asks her to make a joke, but I don't think Chappelle Roan knows what a joke is. Illusion L11, GG, thank you for the sub, welcome
Here
in.
in the first place, because it wasn't always like this.
The depth of effort.
Mozart, Michelangelo, the Hawk Tour Girl. Every generation has their greats, but it feels like over time we're giving people more credit for being nonchalant.
I find it offensive that you would put on the same level fucking William Shakespeare with Hak Chua Girl. Hak Chua Girl is way more influential than he has ever been in his life.
Than for doing things well. Like, just imagine if the Talk Tua podcast was created in the Byzantine Empire. We're holding her back. It's crazy to see this contrast between the last 10 years and then the last, like, 100 to 1,000 years. Even just the 2000s. The 2000s were the definition of not being afraid to do the most. Loud, maximalist, unapologetic self-expression. Everything is in your face, over the top, colorful, has personality. Bro, even things that were corporate didn't feel soulless or generic. Things were allowed to be weird or cringe. The internet was the Wild West, man. You know, before everything became content, you could create whatever you wanted. You could do whatever you wanted. It was a little too much. You might have had to reel it in. And we did. Because suddenly in the mid-2010s, everything shifted. And I don't know when exactly this was. I remember the exact moment I noticed it, and that was in 2016 when the Life of Pablo album cover came out, and I was like, so this is where we're at now. You didn't even try. And that was the aesthetic. The whole deal in the mid-2010s was trying to look effortless, which is an oxymoron in itself. And you're an oxymoron if you tried it. Everything was redesigned to look more simple, AKA boring, bruh. Just straight up soulless.
Jesus.
It's the same monotonous, no person.
Castles are supposed to have gaudy fucking windows with like the crystal fucking light and the rainbow colors, and it's supposed to be fucking bad lighting, and it's supposed to be filled with people. It's not supposed to be pure white everywhere.
Vibe. In the last 10 years, every movie started looking dim, dark, flat.
So that's a castle, it's not a church? Get out of my chat, don't correct me.
Netflix look, bruh. In relationships, we became so detached. Everyone became so nonchalant. Dating now is a competition of who can care less the most. It's also why you're in your 8th situationship in the last 12 months. I'm not hating, I'm just noticing. Every day another tweet goes viral about how we gotta bring back real yearning.
I'm stealing that. I'm not hating, I'm just noticing. You know, anytime that I start reacting to videos, people ask me to take my shoes off. I'm not hating, I'm just noticing.
Yearners that. We gotta bring back that level of yearn. Oh, that was mine, okay. That sentiment has been around for a while. We miss actually feeling like we can put ourselves out there. But the thing is, nobody wants to be seen as a try-hard. And that's like the only insult that could also be a motivational quote. It's like if I called you a
I don't even think it's a problem with people getting called tryhards or whatever. It's more like people are just doing their own thing, living life, having their hobbies, and then they're posting about it in their own little space. And then somebody outside of that space will make fun of you for no reason. Like, you don't say a word to them. You don't even speak to them. No interaction whatsoever. Somebody fucking quote retweets them and they're just like, this is so embarrassing. Like, I can't believe, do they really feel comfortable? Like, I can't, shut the fuck up.
Keep going.
Mind your own goddamn business.
Look at this don't stop right here, bro. Look at this don't stop. Look what he's doing. He's not stopping, bro. What is he? But I think there's a difference between trying hard because you want to and trying hard to impress other people. We had social media for a while, but it's only recently where it feels like everyone feels like everyone is looking at them. So everyone's standing up straight trying to be.
You can't say, listen, it's okay, but look, it's a social media website, so I mean, people post things because like they want to share it with other people. Like, you know, there's no real point to post it there unless you're trying to like have other people like look at it, you know?
Perfect. All eyes are on you. That's why every party looks like this now, where everyone's afraid to move at all. Instagram feels like LinkedIn, curating the literal peaks of your life to share. We're trying to understand this new landscape where anyone can be made fun of for doing anything. You can be minding your business in public, you do something a little bit off, and now, yeah, you check Twitter, that video is on friggin' 8 million people's timelines, and you're getting cooked. So the last thing you want is to be seen trying or failing at something. Everyone is walking on eggshells.
You just wasted a fucking egg for this video. Dislike, unsubscribe.
Artists became nonchalant. Why try if you'll be mocked if it doesn't sell well? In music, we traded elaborate rollouts, cool visuals for mysterious vibes. And aura. I've had enough aura, all right? We get it. We don't know what you're up to. Post the dang songs. It became more attractive in relationships to be nonchalant. Why try if you'll be hurt if you put yourself out there?
You need to ignore her, bro. If you ignore her and don't talk to her, don't text her for a week, you're gonna be amazed at what happens next.
If you're just chill, man, it's like You had nothing to lose. But we have robbed ourselves of the joy of expressing ourselves to the fullest extent. Even right now, somebody could be like, oh
okay,
my
ignoring
God, this guy's
Lucy.
doing
I'm just, no, I'll do you one better. I won't stream for a fucking week. You all decide to yourselves, okay, for a week we're gonna ignore I'm not streaming then! I'm not streaming!
much. What is he talking about? He's I don't care. I'm not
just gonna
limiting
cry to
my
myself
enjoyment
alone.
of life just so other people won't think I'm enjoying life too much. Like, come on, y'all are not enjoying life enough for me. I'm sorry. The irony is the look of nonchalance takes so much effort that you might as well just try, bruh. You already are. And I think people are getting tired of this nonchalance, and we're finally seeing a shift. The pendulum is swinging back. Artists are finally putting themselves out there more and getting rewarded for it. Like just a couple years ago, DJ Khaled was saying Tyler the Creator makes mysterious music.
It's called albums that you actually hear the songs, not no mysterious shit and you never hear it.
This is one of the funniest terms because it's a mystery to me how DJ Khaled is allowed to make music. Tyler was offbeat. He was weird. It's not really the type of music that you hear at barbershop. But that's fine. Can that not exist? And now with Chromacopia, we got to see a refreshing, dope rollout in a time when people announce music and it doesn't come out for months to years. The album was announced. There was real world building. The colors, the characters, the sounds were distinct. This guy's actually putting in effort, man. This is what I'm talking about. The bare minimum. That's all I need. And he sold 300K first week. His biggest album yet. More than any album DJ Khaled has ever sold. Like, look at all the pop stars in the last year. We finally got like a pop arena.
What is a normal amount of albums to sell for a music artist? Now, I genuinely don't know the numbers. I thought 300K was like, for these big artists, not that much. You're saying DJ Khaled hasn't sold that many?
Songs. These are all artists that have literally grinded for like 10 plus
about
years.
Zero Speedy. We're talking about fucking celebrity artists.
Artists like Chapel Roan taking pop back to being elaborate and maximalistic. Is that a word? I don't know. Doing the most in the best way. This is what I'm talking about, Brian. I need y'all. This is pop music. Y'all know where this came from. Why is everybody trying to act too cool?
I think
for
it's
this?
possible.
You have to be out there.
I think it's possible to be cringe and like living your life at the same time. In fact, I think we can just admit to ourselves right now, it's cringe. It is, but like it also doesn't fucking matter that it's cringe. If you're enjoying it, then why let whether it's cringe or not get in the way?
You have to be interesting, and I feel like we're getting
Holy
back to
shit,
that. Even with how minimal.
Oh my god, guys, Britney Spears is kinda
Too cool for this. You have to be out there.
Britney Spears is kinda. Damn. I think if I were a guy, I would have lost buckets to Britney Spears.
And I feel like we're getting back to that. Even with how minimalistic Brat was and the whole Brat summer movement, Charlie XCX was putting in a ton of work, bruh. People got so tired of Drake not really feeling like he's trying at all to the point where they were rooting against him in the beef. And Kendrick actually putting in effort into his lyrics, into his love for the art form, made it easier to want this guy to win. And that effort took him all the way to the dang Super Bowl and winning 5 Grammys in one night. People are valuing real things.
I'm just thinking about like the conversation that Drake had with whoever invited him there. Probably just like, hey, you wanna come? You wanna come to the, you know, red carpet, hang out? I mean, obviously you're invited. He's like, he's gonna be there, isn't he? He's like, oh yeah, give it to me straight. Is he going to win anything? You know, I can't say I'm not coming. Like that must have been the most awkward fucking phone call.
Again. Barbenheimer got all these people to come out and watch 2 movies on the same day just because these 2 directors put in more effort than we're used to in recent big blockbusters.
Okay, but I didn't like Barbie. It was okay. It was okay, but
We went from a movie like Nacho Libre looking like this to every $200 million blockbuster looking like this.
What rating do you give it? A 6.
Get that cone out of my face! Barbie with the colorful sets, Oppenheimer with the dang
It's a very pretty movie though.
Epicness of the IMAX camera. They both felt like they were made by real people, not algorithms. But one thing stands in the way of all this. None of this is real.
What?
With AI, this is like the end game of no effort. This is like it doesn't really get farther than this. Like you really just study for 8 hours when I just got ChatGPT to do it for me. Good use of your time, Timmy. All right, I'll see you in there. We're gonna do a little surgery on this guy, right? We're getting rid of human voices, faces, thoughts, just so we can save some time. But the best things that have ever been produced on this earth were by human beings that had to actually think, dig deep down, and come up with solutions to problems. Are we gonna just lose that part of ourselves to save some time?
But wait, how does this relate to the overall theme of the video?
Probably. I think we're shifting, and I think it's gonna shift even harder because people want the real, bro. I think we're gonna fight not by trying to beat AI, but by trying to be even more human. That's how you cut through these days. Everything feels so fake and corporate and low effort that even just caring about what you do feels different. Everyone wants to seem effortless, but the thing is, you have to try hard to get good enough at something to make it seem effortless. One of my favorite stories is Miles Davis improvising a film score in real time, like watching the movie, playing the trumpet in one night.
That's
the whole score is
crazy.
done. But that didn't happen because this guy was like, bro, let's just get this over with, bro. Let me just get in there, man. It took him thousands of hours of honing that craft to make that even possible for me to be telling you about it right now. People are just trying to skip 50 steps now and just get to the effortless part. But let's be real, you might take an L for trying. You might waste your time, you might look stupid, and that's scary. But if you actually put your all into it just because you wanted to, you can stand on that. There's more regret in hiding behind the shield of, oh, well, I didn't even try, so it's okay that it failed. That inspires nobody. That produces nothing cool. Except you get to help your ego. That's it. Is that what we're doing all this for? Is that why we're here? No. The reality is, we're all...
I think the vast majority of like drama channels that talk shit about other people and like whatever things are going on in their lives, I assume that these are born out of like the motivation of just to not be cringe, the desire to not be cringe. If you make fun of other people for being cringe, then you can never be cringe. You are protected from all cringe accusations by calling other people out for being cringe.
Just scared. All right, it's fear, is what it is. You're scared. We can't live life behind this fear, bro. We can't create art behind this fear. We can't have real relationships behind this fear. You can't even read a book these days in public without somebody telling you you're not a vibe, bro. I wasn't trying to be a vibe. I was just trying to read.
Have you seen that shit around? People just minding their own business and then somebody will fucking post a picture that they took of them in public without their permission and be like, you are not a vibe, bro. You're wearing a cloak on the subway and you're taking pictures of strangers. I know who I'd rather talk to.
The freaking... I was just trying to read freaking... Post-COVID, we are starved for connection. We're starved for authenticity. That's what I'm gonna try to do here. That's what you should try to do in your everyday life. And we can actually try...
Maybe you are starved post-COVID, but for those of us who have not been grifting the shut-in lifestyle, COVID didn't change anything.
Try to have fun on this earth instead of acting too cool to have fun.
It didn't change shit!
Okay? I gotta clean this up now.
Literally. I was just like, oh, so now I'll go outside even less. Houdini, thank you for the sub. Welcome to Cringe Empire. Blah, 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 blah. Why no one plays League of Legends. I wish this were true. I wish none of you did play League of Legends. I wish you actually wouldn't. I do. Gecko, thank you for the 23 months, blah blah, I appreciate it. Vienna plays. Is Vienna a person? They said no one. That would imply that Vienna's a person, but she abandoned her personhood when she played League of Legends. That's probably the point of the video. Okay, I'll give it a chance. Let's give it a chance. I know nothing about League of Legends.
On November 2022, writer Corey Efron Doctorow made a blog post in which he coined a most peculiar yet interesting word, enshittification. Though it may initially sound like a meme word you'd find on Twitter, he then went on to further elaborate on the concept. That's a good word! In simple terms, enshittification is the process by which a platform or service's quality begins to degrade over time, primarily with the intent to maximize profit, thus causing an eventual loss in service.
This happens all the
When
time!
a service or product not only begins to get more expensive, but in some cases it becomes close to inaccessible without first needing a paywall, a free-to-play game becoming pay-to-win, or something to that effect. Such an occurrence may sound familiar to many of us. It appears to have been happening to League of Legends over the past few years. When I first began producing content for a living, arguably my most recognizable videos have been Why No One Plays. The flagship series, not just for Vars 1, but for Vars 2 and Vars 3 as well. It's what allowed me to stand out over existing creators at the time, and a series I very much enjoy looking into. On multiple occasions, I would get comments joking about how with the number of Why No One Plays episodes I have, I should just make a Why No One Plays video for the game as a whole. Obviously, those remarks
Why no one plays video games? Because there's a cash shop in a single-player game.
are made in jest, but I always entertained the thought of making one, maybe as an April Fool's video or just making it as a meme. Never did I imagine I would have to make one unironically. To be fair, League is still an incredibly popular game and likely will continue to be the #1 mobile title for years to come. Like with all Why No One Plays videos, the title is not meant to be taken literally. A more accurate one would be why people are quitting League, but I figured I can use a bit of creative licensing to have a somewhat catchy title. In any case, while I could have made this video a month ago, doubtless many of you have been made aware of the growing disdain the community has had towards League, far more than the usual toxicity. A substantial number of
Yeah, but like, hasn't this been a thing for literally over a decade? Just shitting on League of Legends and shitting on League of Legends players? See, I know nothing about the game, but I join in because even though I know nothing, my brother, Hassan Pyre, he was a League of Legends player and he would always invite me to play and I'd always say no, 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 no. And so I just assumed that all League of Legends players are just like overbearing, demanding that you play games that you don't want to play. Just scum of the earth, truly. And I still commit to
players,
that.
casual and competitive, have been expressing
Play
less
it with
interest
him
in
one
playing the
day?
game as a result of a series of company
I'd rather
decisions that have
chop
led to
my
the gradual
nuts
degradation
off.
of the game's experience. That's what this video is going to be about. I wanted to share my own candid thoughts on the matter, as someone who's been playing the game for a decade now, and also as someone who quite literally built a living from talking about this game, among several others. I have never been shy with voicing criticism towards Riot for their champion designs in the past, but I've always tried to look at things from both perspectives, and to try to take them in as good faith as I possibly could. No such
So this
concession
is
will be
his
given here,
version
as
of
much
the
as League
Final
has become an
Fantasy
integral part
14
of my
video.
livelihood. I, like many of you watching, am beginning to exhaust what little patience and goodwill I have with the company, and if
Oh my god, he
constitutional
sounds so
change isn't made
familiar.
in the near future to amend their mistakes, I see no reason to continue giving exposure to a game that dishonors the very player base that made League of Legends what it is today. To start,
Oh
many
my
of you might
god,
recall
wait,
the
this sounds
ambitious announcements
familiar.
they made that 2023 would be the biggest budget of all time for League, and that 2024 would be even bigger. Initially, players were excited to hear the news, believing the working capital would be used to invest into the game, perhaps improve the game's embarrassingly poor client, or maybe, as a pipe dream, a big expansion to the game, possibly League of Legends 2. Theories came about on what that would be used for, and just as we were entering 2024 and getting ready to see what they would do, in January, the very start, the company laid off over 500 employees.
Why is
roughly
he
11%
speaking so fast? Because I fucking turned on 1.25 times speed! You people need to fucking work on it. You need to work on your ears. Get better. Get fucking better.
of their entire
I
working
slowed
body.
it for
To
you,
give
but
credit where
next
it's
time, no. Next time, it's the fucking test. Next time, I'm putting it on 2 times fucking speed.
due, they at least had the decency to offer possibly one of the most gratuitous severance packages I've ever seen, so they made sure to spare no expense in softening the blow. But what caused most of it to be disregarded is how unexpected the layoffs in question were, in light of the 2024 budget announcement that came before. While this certainly was a foreboding look for the year going forward, to an extent it did not affect the experience of the game for
We
most
increased
players,
the budget
not
to pay the
immediately anyway.
CEO.
Around
How
the
are
same
you not
time, a
understanding
decision was
this?
made to discontinue Riot Forge, a publishing label that was responsible for making spin-off games like Ruined King, Mageseeker, Convergence, Song of Nunu, and Vandaltale, games that served to expand more on the mythos of League's universe and to widen the scope of the League of Legends brand. A noteworthy shutdown to point out, but that only captured a small portion of the overall player base's interest. It wasn't until midway through the year that the community at large would bear witness to the game's enshittification. During spring of last year, an
Chatty-
extremely controversial
Okay. Despite all of the many problems I'm sure that League of Legends has, the biggest problem has to be that they have such sexy female characters, and yet this style of like where the camera is makes it hard for me to goon to them while playing. What's even the point?
controversial decision was made to release a special legacy skin commemorating Faker's inclusion in the Hall of Fame, the Immortalized Legend Ari,
Hydration.
the supposed prestige edition of the Risen Legendary skin. While certainly a very elegant design paying homage to the greatest League of Legends player to ever exist, obtaining the skin in-game is where backlash began to erupt. Unlike most other skins, you couldn't just go into the shop and buy them for $10 to $25
Damn,
and call it a
she's
day.
hot!
You had to buy a special package containing a multitude of items, including the skin. How much did it cost? 3,000 RP? Nope. 5,000? Not even close. To acquire the premium Faker Ari skin, you would have to spend 59,260 Riot points.
What
How
the
much is that?
fuck?
Equivalent to around $500 USD. Considering the most expensive skins to come out for
This is also the type of thing that like people will defend, because let me tell you, this is probably what they say, because they say this all the time.
It's just a skin. You don't need it to enjoy the game, lol. Just a skin. You don't even need it. It's like your fault if you wanted it. It's your fault if you wanted it. They gotta make money somehow. Game devs gotta eat. Like, doesn't matter. You don't need it to beat the game. It's not pay to win because you don't need it technically.
purchase were 3250 RP, that is over 18 times more expensive. Acquiring just the Immortalized Legendary skin without Faker signatures would cost around 30,000 RP or $250. But even that was beyond absurd to remotely consider. Skins are extremely marketable commodities in League, evidenced by how much revenue they generated.
But people with OCD need everything. It's not even just that. There are people who are willing to like shill out a couple fucking dollars whenever you release a skin for their favorite character or whatever. They just want the thing for their favorite, you know? And yet they just take it a step insanely too far and they make it $500 fucking dollars for a skin? But people will defend it because it's like, if it's not their favorite character, if it's not something they wanted, they don't care, and they'll make excuses for it because they don't care until it affects them.
In sales over the years, but much of that had to do with the affordability of the skins. An epic skin would cost $10, a reasonable amount to spend on something that you would see being used all throughout your time in League. Even legendary skins were in the realm of acceptable, especially considering the quality of
what game is
animations
this?
and new
Brightblade, if you don't know, you're better off keeping it that way.
voice lines. Ultimate skins, at least some of the older ones like Elemental's Lux, were a more premium purchase that not many would be too inclined to splurge on, but those who did definitely got their money's worth. All these skins were then also made potentially obtainable through the Hextech crafting system, so there was always an opportunity to get them entirely for free if you were lucky enough. The Faker Ahri skin though not only was unobtainable through free-to-play means, but it featured a price tag 18 times more expensive than the most expensive skin money could buy prior to that point.
Yeah, no
Even
shit.
$50 would have been a hard pill for most players to swallow, let alone $500. And while I've always been a
You can get them
proponent of
gaming with
spending
gacha. I feel like Final Fantasy XIV should do a thing where all the shit they have as a cash shop should be available in-game if you are willing to put the time in to get the thing in the game instead of spending, I don't know, fucking $10 to get it instead. But they don't do that. Then they could make money off of people who are like, no, I don't want to do that thing in-game, I'm just gonna pay the money. And then they could have people who get to actually have content to get that fucking item in the game. But no, everything must be paid for.
On hobbies you enjoy, especially a hobby that provides hundreds of hours of entertainment like video games, there's an objective line between a price willing to pay for entertainment and blatant price gouging. This was unequivocally the latter. The backlash was so visceral, players colloquially agreed to disallow Ahri being played by anyone to voice their dissatisfaction towards Riot for the stunt they just pulled. In April and May of 2024, Ahri's ban rate went as high as almost 50%, not because she was overpowered or just got buffed, but because of the Faker Ahri skin. Sadly, this wouldn't even be the worst offense the company made. On a side note, over the years,
And let me guess, they no
increase
response.
in the rate at which new skins were being produced.
Radio silence.
While not a bad thing on its own, there was also a concerning increase in skins that appeared to reuse models, animations, and graphics from previous skins, or releasing an existing skin just with extra adjustments made to it. This technically happened a long time ago with the Prestige skins, but it's become even more prolific.
I don't really think any company gives a fuck if there's an outrage about a certain thing that they do in a game, as long as people buy it. Like, people can hate it as much as they want, but if they get enough whales who will go and actually buy it, they do not care. Like, if 99% of the player base hates it, they really don't care. If it makes them money, they'll keep it.
More skins apparently recycling the same animations or asset base, tons of legendary skins that look like glorified epic ones, and so forth, almost as if they were trying to get us to spend more money without putting any effort into it on their end. On the subject of spending more money, towards the end of 2024 came the Sanctum, a gacha system wherein players could unlock exalted skins, aka the super expensive ones, by pulling for them through a standard gacha system. Gacha mechanics have become more popular throughout the past decade as the gacha business model grew in size and exposure, with Vars 2 being primarily focused on Genshin Impact, Wuthering Waves, and Honkai Star Rail, and having played gacha games for 9 years now, I'm all too familiar with the system, for better or worse. It's been frequently denounced for encouraging problem gambling by enticing players to spend exorbitant amounts of money for the chance to not have to spend exorbitant amounts of money. The hard pity, which for the uninitiated is the amount of pulls required to guarantee the jackpot item, is 80, with each pull costing 400 RP. That would mean the guarantee for an exalted skin would be 32,000 riot points, $250. The Faker Ahri skin debacle was not a one-time occurrence. New exalted skins are being released on a frequent basis, meaning you could potentially spend $250 a month on trying to acquire a single skin. That same amount could have bought you literally 20 skins beforehand, which were of comparable animation quality as most of the exalted ones. So not only were skins getting increasingly more expensive, but they were also—
Don't worry, you don't need it to play the game, so obviously it's fine. It doesn't matter how expensive it is.
getting worse in quality. It didn't help that many of these skins were also limited time, making it so if you didn't pull for them right now, you would never get another chance. Classic FOMO. Now, up to this point, most of the skin changes only really affected a small number of players. The majority of League's community consisted of people who spent no money at all, only acquiring skins through Hextech crafting, honor capsules, and the like. While it sucked to miss out on really cool skins, they were ultimately a luxury that most players could do without. But then, a series of changes were made that fundamentally altered the experience of the game for the worse. Starting with the Battle Pass. The Battle Pass was another paid model that made it so players could obtain rewards by playing the game, and even more if you unlocked the premium rewards. People weren't too enthusiastic about this being in the game as it felt like another cash grab, but they were tolerant of it due to the free rewards being incentive enough
Everyone
to keep
does
playing,
this
as
now.
it gave free key fragments and
I don't know who popularized it, but everyone fucking does battle pass mechanics now.
chests to open. But then players noticed in 2025 the first battle pass of the new season had no chests, instead just a pitiful amount of blue essence and a couple key fragments. Shortly after came the news
Fortnite
that Hextech
started
chests
it?
would no longer be obtainable for
Good
free,
God.
effectively rendering the Hextech crafting system non-functional unless you bought chests with real money. What was meant to be a fantastic quality of life method for non-spending players to get their hands on skins, a system that improved on the experience of all players, free-to-play, skin enthusiasts, and
Stop telling yourself that they give a fuck about free-to-play players. You have to abandon this idea. You have to abandon this idea. They only care about the 0.001% of player who spends $1,000 on their game every single month. Those are the only players they give a fuck about. They do not care what your opinion is. They're not making new features for you. It's not for you.
whales alike for years, was now completely shut off for the vast majority. Never have I seen such unanimous
The
contempt for
only benefit a free-to-play player has to a gacha game or a game that has gacha mechanics is advertising that game to potential whales.
Riot Games than I have from this change. Being the dumpster fire that it is, League gets no shortage of backlash by the player base whenever Riot makes a toxic meta or releases a broken champion. But the removal of free Hextech crafting was a change so universally hated, players have actively begun to quit the game in droves, as if that wasn't a big enough
As
blow.
you
They also
should.
announced that honor capsules and orbs would no longer be given out, yet another way for players to
Ooh.
get their hands on more skins, emotes, and whatnot. Even with all that in consideration,
They
and
fucking
believing
hate
that's
you.
a lot to consider, defendants could still argue that skins were fundamental.
Damn, the League of Legends devs fucking hate you. Not only do they not care, but they hate your ass.
Luxuries that did not have any bearing on a player's gameplay experience. Sure, you could say that you don't need skins to play a champion. While it would be nice to play a character with extra visuals and flair, they are technically non-essential so long as you have the champion. But then Riot decided to make champions extremely difficult to obtain for free as well. Blue Essence was nerfed by a substantial amount. Previously, you could expect to obtain about 4 to 6 new champions per Battle Pass season. After this change, you can more or less expect
Now
to obtain
this is
4
the
to 6
point
new
of
champions
desperation.
per year.
The point of desperation, when there's not enough new whales, so they're trying to convince people who are like free to play to just start spend a little bit of money, just a little bit of money. It's just like $10, just like $10. Spend please, little free to play, please, just a little money, just a little cash here and there's just $1.
They basically made it so unlocking the entire champion pool by
fucking
playing the game long
squeezing
enough was no
pennies
longer
out of a
practical.
rock.
You had to buy them now. One change after another, the game became more and more inaccessible for free-to-play players. First it was for luxurious skins, then it was for regular skins, and now it was for champions. The funny thing, or sad thing is, I haven't even exhaustively covered everything there is. They took away Prime capsules a while back, which was a nice way for players with Amazon Prime to get free RP and stuff. They also took away your shop, the thing they do every so often to sell skins at varying discounts,
They
which
hate
when
you.
combined with the stipend you got from Prime capsules allowed you to
Damn,
buy
they
skins for
fucking
free
hate
as well.
you.
They essentially ruined the experience for all players, not just free-to-play, but also paying customers, exactly what enshittification is. When the quality of a platform or service degrades for the everyday user in favor of business customers, aka paying ones, then they degrade the quality to users and business customers to maximize profits. Again, most paying players were fine with dropping maybe 20 to 30 bucks a month on a couple skins here and there, but now that the price inflated to $250 a month, even paying players no longer want to pay, especially when
This is the problem, man. This is the problem with the constant desire to go up. Number must go up, line must go up. We must do whatever it takes to make line go up. Let's make the skins $250. It doesn't matter that we're making money already. It must grow. We must continue to increase. Otherwise, we are in big trouble.
taking into account the knock-on effect of all free stuff being phased out of the game. For as long as I can remember, League always stood as the paragon of free-to-play accessibility. While most other mainstream games were filled with
That's funny now,
microtransactions,
ain't
real-world
it?
trading, or pay-to-win incentives, League distinguished itself for the full
Didn't
experience
similar
being made
things
available
happen to
players
Overwatch?
at no charge. It is what inspired so many companies to view it as a gold standard to emulate, and all this time developers have been trying to implement the same practices Riot has done. To see the game go against everything it once stood for is what makes the enshittification process all the more painful. On its own, making Exalted skins or the Faker's R skin cost a month's groceries would have been tolerable, and I say that generously, if there were ways for players to potentially get them for free or grind for them or whatnot. But not only were they flat out not made obtainable, but they also went and took away everything else, all in the name of maximizing profits. The excuses they come up with that Hextech
Many
chests
such
and honor
cases.
capsules are not sustainable for the company are just that. Meaningless excuses. League was thriving and doing perfectly fine during the 8 years the players had free access to this
That's
stuff. They made
packed.
billions every year, all while providing free things. And even from a business perspective, giving free stuff is ironically the best way to make more money. That is why every single big company on earth has free coupons, reward programs, loss leaders, buy one get one free deals, so on and so forth. It's to encourage you to spend more money. I don't think the higher-ups at Riot realize the complete lapse in common sense behind their decisions. Customer satisfaction is the #1 priority for any product or service. It's not the price, it's not the wherewithal of the customer, it's whether they like your product and by extension your company or not. If they don't, they won't spend. You could have the best gameplay in the world, but if people don't like the company of the game, they will.
That's not true. If it were true, it would be better. But it's not true. You underestimate the amount of people who have addictions. You know, it is very possible to be unhappy with what you're doing and to be addicted to it. Actually, that's pretty much what addiction is. When you're not having fun anymore, yet you can't fucking stop. It's especially bad because gacha is literal gambling, so it's very prone to capture addicts in the first place. So no, there are probably a lot of people who say this shit sucks, it's so bad, and yet they're spending money on it because they are addicted to the fucking game and the gacha.
Won't spend on it. It's public relations 101. Every single decision they've made.
If
has
it weren't
only added
profitable,
more
they
and more
wouldn't
chips
do it.
on the
That
player base's
really is
shoulders.
it.
More and more
They
of a
don't do
reason to
things
hate
that
the
lose
game
them
more
money.
than they already do. More and more of a reason to not spend and support the company. By being so hyper-fixated on maximizing revenue, every decision they made will only result in less revenue for the company long term. They might be able to squeeze out more
Have
from
they
higher
tried not
starting
getting
players, but
addicted?
just as
Yeah, thank you, Alistor. I'll try passing that on to them.
a rising tide lifts all boats, a falling tide lowers all boats. The whole community suffers, both free-to-plays and paying ones. It's more than being a loss leader to generate more revenue. These free incentives and rewards are meant to serve as gestures of goodwill to show appreciation to the players that have turned the game into what it is today. To take all that away and then some betrays that goodwill, leading to a loss of not just financial support but also word of mouth and reputation. People are always pessimistic when it comes to League. Jokes are made all the time
Man,
about
that
quitting,
thing
being
looks-
an active
ooh.
setting yourself free, or telling their friends to never start playing the game.
I bet there's
But think
great
I speak for
hentai
most
with
of
that
us when I
thing.
say that League of Legends, the game, is amazing. It's a title you only see once in a generation. What makes it so aggravating is the player base, not the game. If the player base wasn't so insufferable, League would actually just be the most addicting game of all time. But for the first time in my life, I think the game is no longer amazing anymore. Skins may seem like frivolous luxuries to players, but they represent an integral essence of League's experience. Imagine playing Minecraft, but you can only use decorative blocks if you pay for them. It's just not the same without
It's just a cosmetic, guys. It's just a cosmetic. You don't need it to play the game.
that. And then they went on to make champions inaccessible, blocking off a huge part of what League is about, unlocking and trying new champions. And shitification sucks not because a product
Okay, can I fucking rant about that? I can't stand people who say things like, if it's not required or like if it doesn't make you stronger in the game, then it doesn't matter and it's not really pay to win. Are you ignoring the fact that people are fucking obsessed with pretty things and nice things and shiny things? Are we just denying human psychology? Are we fucking coping? People like to have pretty things.
Oh, well, yeah, it's not related to the gameplay. It doesn't matter. You don't need it.
I'm sorry, but fashion is almost always the true endgame in every fucking game. Having the shiny outfit, having the new glamour set, that is the fucking endgame. It matters to people, and the companies know that it matters to people. That's why they make it so fucking expensive. People who say it doesn't matter because you don't need it to fucking beat the game, just shut the fuck up. You know that's not the point.
is bad, but because a product was once good and then became bad. If League came out with all this garbage from the get-go,
Unironic,
we'd
just
have our
try not getting
expectations at
addicted
that
moment.
spot.
Just
But we
don't
had
like
to
shiny
stop.
things. Stop it.
And
Just
then they
stop
took it
liking shiny
away.
things. Stop.
One thing I appreciated about League is that for as long as I've been making content for it, I've always wanted to make more. I never got bored of talking about the game, even during times when I was bored of playing it. There was just so much to talk about with this game that I feel like I can make videos on it for years and years to come. But in light of all that's been happening, even talking to my
It's not
other
worth
League
it,
YouTuber
bro.
friends like Nikki, Chimes, Dumps and stuff, morale has never been this low for all of us. And it really hurts, especially for us
Wait, this
creators,
sounds so
because
familiar
League is
again.
literally our livelihood. It's our career. We invested so much time and passion into this, only for Riot to turn around and treat the game we all love to hate and hate to love into nothing more than a cash cow. All I can say is, I hope that in the 2 weeks it takes to make this video and upload it, it's already outdated, because if they don't, this will spell disaster for the League of Legends brand in the long run. As someone who studied game design and as a business owner myself, none of the decisions they made are justifiable in any way. I don't care who their shareholders are, it's not even business sense at this point. It's common sense. Anyway, what do you guys think about all this? I mean,
No one knows the true numbers except the devs and the people at the business and the people who are making the choices, they know the numbers. It would be nice if we knew the numbers, but they don't have to tell us. It's sad. It's sad. I wish I could know all the numbers. I wish I could know. I want to see the I want to see the number. I do. I'm obsessed. I'm obsessed with the number. Graphics are temporary, art direction is forever. I'll probably agree with this video because I'm tired of games being 5 billion gigabytes.
Draw Wonder Bread. Graphics are defined as a product of the graphic arts, usually in design or illustration. It is also known as visual images from computer processing. But
ain't no way you started out with a definition of graphics.
To us, gamers, we deem graphics as do that shit look good. I suppose you could say its origin makes sense. If I go back to that Battlefield 3 trailer way back when, I would say, damn, those are some good graphics, as in literally the things I am seeing look good, the graphics on screen. But really, graphics now are a term more so used to describe how good looking a game is. Does it have a good visual fidelity? Art direction is defined as the works from an art director overseeing a film,
ain't no way you're throwing the We know what art direction is!
Or any other media.
Or maybe
Another way
they
to
don't.
describe it would be the...
I would say, yeah, you know what? I shouldn't say this. I shouldn't say this. There are a lot of people out there who, believe it or not, chatty, there are people out there even dumber than me.
Process that creates the feeling of a tone or a setting in some kind of media. If the tone you're going for is a dark, dire, depressing tone, how do you convey that through a visual means?
I don't believe it. It's hard. I know it's hard to believe.
Tone itself. Because I think it would be quite jarring if you told Cormac McCarthy's The Road story while making it look like Grand Budapest Hotel. The strength of your graphics, say for a film or TV show, the resolution, the quality of your camera is not what's used in order.
I don't think that's necessarily true. I think sometimes it's intentional and to good effect when you have an environment that doesn't match the subject matter of like what you're doing. And I think that can be pretty cool sometimes.
To create the tone you are going for. It certainly helps, but having a good resolution, having it look good from an actual pixel point of view doesn't convey tone. The opening of Saving Private Ryan isn't good because it's in 8K 700 frames a second. It conveys a harrowing tone by sucking all the color out, by making it seem really claustrophobic, and with the use of props and extras on the battlefield to make it look like a battlefield. Or even smaller touches like never showing the face of the enemy in the beginning sequences and only seeing either the point of view of their gun or the point of view of the soldiers with just those slight muzzle flashes coming from the bunker. Putting all these things together
I didn't even notice all this shit.
Very hard to watch opening to a film, but it creates that tone you're looking for in which graphics.
My God, he green screened himself. He's in the war.
I've had to end up explain on more occasions than I would particularly like to, and it's the reason why I wanted to talk about it today. As far as I'm concerned, graphics mean next to nothing while art direction is consistently superior. Graphics are temporary, art direction is forever. Let's start with an example.
It's true. It's true. It's true. Why don't you go and you fucking look at Legend of Zelda Wind Waker? That game was created 50 decades ago, and yet it still looks fire.
One I used earlier, Battlefield 3. Battlefield has always triumphed its graphics, particularly when...
And since we're playing it now, I'll say BioShock does this well too. It stands up. I don't look at it and say this is so dated.
Battlefield 3 came out. I remember the war that was happening at the time, Modern Warfare 3 versus
until they start tweaking after
like
they die and their corpses twitch, but that's just a bug,
guys.
Hey,
I was a teenager. But in that little campaign trailer, when you're getting pinned down by a sniper and you had to fire a rocket at it and the building kind of crumbled around the spot where you fired it at, and I was sitting there thinking, this is going to be the best goddamn game ever. And about 2,000 games of Operation Metro later, yeah, it was pretty great. I love Battlefield 3. But despite my like for the game, I can't remember a single campaign mission. Better yet, I can't remember a single mission of the campaign, a level, a play space. I know it was in the Middle East, I think. You play as Americans. I don't remember anything about the campaign. Not just because the story was boring, but also I don't remember where I was. I don't remember a vista or a combat room or a special encounter. I don't remember anything. Hell, I don't remember anything for the Battlefield 4 campaign or the Hardline. Remember, I don't even remember Hardline. The only mission I really remember in Battlefield 1 was the opening one, where every time you died, you went to a new person. That was actually pretty cool. But besides that, I don't remember any of this. Because
no commentary on this because I don't know this game.
Because graphics triumphed. Because it was trying to make it look
the graphics are very
and not try to give
realistic.
it some kind of identity, some kind of feeling when you walk into a room and you think, wow, as you see this kind of environment sprawled out in front of you. It was about making it look realistic. And that made it less than memorable. The story didn't help, but it made it forgettable.
So realistic it's forgettable? I mean, think about real life. Do you remember every fucking place that you've been? I don't know, especially when it just looks like a generic abandoned cityscape.
Most identical setting though, and move it over a game. Spec Ops The Line. An incredible game Spec Ops is. But when it comes to the setting, it's nigh identical. American soldiers in a foreign country, generally Middle Eastern, similar colors, lots of buildings and sand. But the parts of Spec Ops just stay in my head so much better. The imagery of that game has so much more character to it.
Well, this is inherently more rememberable right here.
It almost creates some kind of like
I just said rememberable. Memorable!
Glass towers and skyscrapers all over the area. Sometimes I would walk into a room and that imagery would stay with me, either because it was so incredibly harrowing or it was just put together really well. Even in a game about sand.
Daddy, oh my god, I can't believe you never told me. You never told me that Elden Ring ripped off this game.
Because it was so incredibly harrowing.
You didn't tell me that Elden Ring stole this game's everything.
Or it was just put together really well. Even in a game about sand-swept Dubai, it still can work with its colors. It still has multiple times where it is bright.
This game looks really cool.
And it has good looking colors in
an
area that should only be gray and tan. Even your characters have sand and blood that constantly get caked onto them as their deteriorating mental state continues. Hell, the overwhelming amount of the upside down American flag in a foreign country, I think, has enough symbolism in itself. And its strength is that it pretended to be a Call of Duty Battlefield clone. It pretended to be another modern military shooter. And that's where its strength
See, it betrayed your expectations.
And then it
Which I said
itself.
Is good.
The story alone is great.
Sometimes.
But even in a place that you've seen a million times, American soldiers in some place in the Middle East, it still has imagery that sticks with you. How about one of my favorite video games of all time?
Why are they doing that? Are they like bungee cording?
Even when it came out, didn't have the greatest of graphics. The characters moved in that uncanny valley way. Their faces looked very strange.
Why is that a
overall,
problem?
It wasn't the greatest at the time, but it didn't matter. Early 50s, Art Deco, steampunk, horror, underwater city. Throwing all this political intrigue, bit of religion in there, and oh my god, there's nothing like it. But even if you played the original 2007
Lucy, don't get spoiled.
Version of the game, you would.
No, guys, I'm sure that the mods who checked every video that was submitted and got rid of anything that would be bad, I'm sure they would not allow in a video that had a spoiler. Right? I'm sure they wouldn't do that. At risk of being banned permanently. I'm positive.
Still call it beautiful, even if its graphics kind of suck, because it has that environment. System Shock 2, same thing. Prey 2017. Have you played Prey? Have you played Prey? Why haven't you played Prey? Take the same Art Deco style in BioShock, put it in a space station, change plasmids to alien powers, and give it the dishonored looking UI and characters. Why have you not played Prey? Did I mention the Mick Gordon soundtrack? I didn't mention the Mick Gordon soundtrack, did I?
This is just a...
The last act is a little iffy, but you should
I was not convinced until the lyrics came in.
Every single faction in Warhammer.
Chatty, it's your favorite! Chatty, this is your moment. Warhammer is being mentioned on the Lucy Pyre stream. Let's go!
Or some other culture, but by mixing that with its sci-fi fantasy elements. But then you take the sci-fi ideas, and then you mix it with the fantasy elements like knights and wizards and such, psychers, etc. And then you make those giant knights pray to a spirit in their gun with incense. You turn every ship into a cathedral.
This is
and you've
the
got
lore?
something that really has a unique identity. The Adeptus Mechanicus combine body augmentation with transhumanism, with body horror, throw on some monk robes, and then have a massive amount of religious zealotry and steampunk. The goddamn Necrons are undead skeletons combined with a massive amount of high tech and heavy Egyptian themes. This
I wasn't expecting Warhammer to be this intense.
leads me to the physical part too, because this isn't just games. When it comes to things like arts and crafts, sometimes it's better to have an identity with your crafting than it is to make it look really realistic. Hyper-realism things like dioramas and such are incredibly impressive. Very cool to look at. But sometimes just having an identity in your own work is more important. And I see this a lot, especially online with artists, people who do commissions. They always try to go really hard to make it perfect. I'd say your artistic identity matters more than the minutia of the art.
It's impressive though. Like when they're drawing it and they make it look so like realistic, it's impressive. I feel like it's when an artist is doing it, it feels more like an appreciation of just how skilled they are, of how much they understand the subject matter that they're doing. But I agree, I think usually art styles are more appealing to me than the realistic shit.
Let's use Warhammer Miniatures for example. I'm not a top level painter. I think I'm decent. I don't think I'm bad, but I am not super high level. But I'm really proud of my Sisters of Battle army because the combination of the white armor, the magenta robes, and actually creating a base that looks like a field of flowers, I think really adds personality to them. Because you take a faction that might be one of the most evil and hardcore in the Imperium, and you give them like a paradox.
This was his excuse to like show this off, by the way. Like this whole video, he was like, how can I show people and like get views on people to see my Warhammer set? I know what I shall do. I shall make a video. I'll call it graphics are temporary, art direction is forever.
Art style where they look very holy and they have a field of flowers and all that. It adds this neat contradiction to the army. And so I'm really proud of that army. I make mistakes with my painting all the time. The faces look terrible, but I really like the identity they have when you're playing them on the tabletop. I'm working on a Night Lord's army right now. Here's a picture of my obliterator.
I'm telling you, we got long cons.
It's not perfect. Not all of my painting parts are great. Sometimes I use too many coats. Sometimes I use too few coats. Sometimes I accidentally bump certain parts of the armor that shouldn't be a certain color when I paint. Yeah, there's problems, but it has an identity that I really like. Night Lords are criminals and murderers before they even are adults. And
wait till he shows his Gunpla collection. Is that next?
Unchained, out of the prison, the chains around the hand, the barbed wire, that really gives it this feeling that while it has the same
This is Warhammer propaganda.
Lords, it feels unique.
Me when I told Chatty that I wouldn't watch the Warhammer lore videos on stream, and so they submitted this, they fucking snuck this under the fucking woodwork.
Super well painted, 10 out of 10, pro painter looking mini is fine, but I think I'd rather take a 7 out of 10 mini with a unique original style first. The reason I wanted to make this video is twofold. First,
no, he wanted to show off his, and then he wanted to say that people who paint it different than him are wrong.
It's a reminder to you creators out there that style sometimes is more important than substance. People keep going for perfect instead of going for unique. Often the media that I consume, games, movies, TV shows, I often rewatch the ones that are 7, 8s out of 10s more than I rewatch the 10 out of 10 ones. Because
I don't necessarily think unique is... I don't think unique should be an aim. Focused should be an aim. Like, just knowing what you're going for. I don't think something needs to be unique to be effective.
Sometimes the things that are perfect don't speak to you and you don't enjoy as much as the things that are decent. And secondly, I wanted to make this so I can provide examples of the difference between graphics and art direction and which one you should aim to go for. It also helps me so that I can point to this video if anyone says to me, why do you think that game looks good? Its graphics are terrible, i.e. BioShock or something, because
people say that
matter. Graphics are temporary and art direction is forever. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you want to buy merch,
people say BioShock graphics are bad. Those people are brain rotted. You're fucking brain rotted. Go play some AAA slop, okay? Go play your AAA slop. I feel like they had more to say. Who? What? What do you mean? Now, everyone listen up. Yeah, guys, are you listening? Are you listening? They have something to say.
Life isn't just about passing on your genes. We can leave behind much more than just DNA. Through speech, music, literature, and movies, what we've seen, heard, felt, anger, joy, and sorrow.
I also want to point out that this is my left tit speaking. The right tit makes the misogyny jokes, and the left tit has actual opinions.
These are the things I will pass on.
Did you get that? I hope you were taking notes. This will be on the final test. God, they're so intelligent. Censorship on TV is weird. Okay, this is the last one that we will watch today. This is it.
Enough is enough.
There better be 4 kids in here.
These monkey fighting snakes on this Monday to Friday play.
Okay, so some of you might remember a while back, I made a video looking at how
That's how they censored that? I'm tired of these motherfucking snakes on this motherfucking
rating
plane!
systems are really weird and basically don't make any sense at all. And I'm pretty sure I did mention in that video that the only thing that I think is more strict than the MPAA is censorship on television. Since, you know, going to the movies or buying something is at least a
it's pretty bad.
like 2 steps. With TV, you only need a single button press to have access to the horrors of the world. Unlike the MPAA and their rating system though, there's not really any clear-cut rules as to what you can or cannot show on TV, outside of like the obvious. I think the only one thing that I can think of is that like after 10 p.m. they
It's like serious business. If you say a curse word that you're not allowed to say on TV, like they'll fucking fine you and shit. It's like a big deal. People get in trouble for it.
Kind of like ease up a little bit. But after that, it's more down to like an individual network or channel thing than it is like an overarching set of guidelines that everybody has to follow. Just in general, TV tends to be a lot heavier on the censorship and guidelines than most other forms of media that I can think of. I think the only thing further than that would have to be like
Yeah, you can have a show where it's just like people getting shot and murdered and killed, but if your child hears the word fuck, I'm sorry, but we're gonna fine those people $10,000.
and music, which turns entire rap verses into like Morse code. Now, obviously, I'm not going to be looking at every single example in this video because
I saw the Kendrick Lamar Super Bowl performance of his songs, and it was so fucking funny because of how, like, 50% of it he just could not sing.
Censorship is such an enormous scope to look at. I even asked for some examples from people on Twitter, and even just that alone was completely overwhelming. So if I miss a lot of really obvious ones in this video, I know, okay? I'm not trying to cover everything here. There definitely has been gradual improvement in Western countries, at least, with what you can show on TV. I mean, back in the 50s, you couldn't even show a woman's belly button or a toilet.
Really?
And now you can quite comfortably show someone's face getting smashed in with a baseball bat.
I get it. Belly buttons, fuck me. Belly buttons are pretty hot.
For like a minute straight, followed by a Coca-Cola ad, which funnily enough, I can't actually show you on YouTube because the censorship on this site is even worse than it is on TV. So I'm gonna have to do that whole thing where if you want to see the uncensored version of the uncensored clips, you're gonna have to check it out on Patreon. I'm sorry, blame YouTube, not me, okay? You can see
Programmer,
the
thank you for
exact
the 7
difference in
months.
strictness between movie and television censorship as soon as you see what happens whenever they broadcast certain movies in like the US or UK and make every single character sound like they're on Play School.
Freak you, Sam Rothstein.
Freak you!
Freak
you!
You see what happens, Larry? You see what happens when you find a stranger in the Alps?
It gets much worse than this though, don't worry. You may have heard of this Christmas TV movie that had 2 entirely different versions made just in order to censor queer content in them. The movies Too Cool for Christmas and A Very Cool Christmas are completely identical, except in one, the main character has 1 dad, and in the other, they have 2. They literally shot 2 different versions of every scene.
That's the Chinese version. No, this is real. This is real. It's like illegal. You can't show shit like that. So they'll often shoot a Chinese safe version that you can air in Chinese movie theaters Just take out all the gay people.
Whenever the parents show up, I assume to make 2 different variations of it for release in different markets, with the not gay one being bought out by Lifetime. No way. I was listening to a podcast recently with the creators of Smiling Friends, which I found really interesting, where they were basically saying how inconsistent the guidelines were that they had to work with. Like, violence for the most part, they said was completely fine unless they showed brain matter, but they absolutely were not in any capacity allowed to show smoking or vaping. They weren't allowed to imply a blowjob, and they weren't allowed to show pubic hair on one of the characters.
Actually, Zach, you can go into the pubic hair
Actually,
thing.
I was joking, but there is a semi-real story, which was we had a character with, his pants kind of sagging and his pubes were exposed. It wasn't even that graphic. It's tame for like South Park Season 1 standards, but they said S&P jumped in and said you have to remove the pubes. So some poor bastard had to go in and delete the pubes frame by frame on this fucking character. Yeah, that's a true story, by the way.
Can't see pubes. Cannot see pubes on TV.
But it was
Hey, what do you do for a living? Well, so I'm a pube deleter.
all good to show a demon getting ripped limb from limb and beaten to shit by a crowd of people. So even the people who make these shows don't really understand what the guidelines are. Now, when it comes to animation on TV, there is an even greater threat to worry about than just sex and violence. The existence of...
You may as well not even watch Kill la Kill, like, on Adult Swim. When I saw the censorship of that, it's just like, you've removed the point of the show. You've removed everything that matters.
Other cultures. Ooh. It doesn't happen too much anymore as far as I know, at least in Western countries, because I think we have all come to terms with the fact that Japan exists. I'm not saying it doesn't happen at all anymore, because it definitely still does, but I think we're getting there, at least with stuff that isn't made for kids.
They've got to be in here somewhere. Here you go, Snubble. Popcorn balls.
But Brock, there's no way Snubble's gonna want to eat them. Even I think they taste awful.
And I think you all know where I'm going with this. It's time to talk about 4Kids, a word that still keeps me up at night. This was a company that localized and dubbed way too many anime and cartoons in the early 2000s, everything from like Sonic X, the 2003 team, and
My favorite thing about 4Kids is just like, yeah, you're right. There's no way to explain to the children that, like, they're watching a show that got translated from Japanese. Like, they won't understand it. So let's change the names of all the characters to, like, white people names, unironically. Okay, so now her name is Serena. Her name is Mackenzie. She is Kayla. She is a fucking Stacey. It really is like that. Oh, and they changed my girl. They changed my girl, Tokyo Mew Mew. Turn that shit into Mew Mew Power. They fucking took Ichigo and named her Zoe. Zoe? You mean from 101? That bitch got pregnant!
Series, Dinosaur King, and
My
even Kirby
Ichigo
right
is
back
not
at
a
you.
whore!
But I think it would have to be an easy tie between One Piece and Yu-Gi-Oh! For the most heavily censored series that they handled.
I'm telling you, those people only took us in to capture us.
If I can commend 4Kids for anything, it's that they went to a tremendous amount of unnecessary effort to shittily edit over firearms with like water guns and cigarettes with lollipops, which is somehow...
Thank God that they did not do it to Naruto. Thank God that they're still ninjas and shit. Thank God, bro.
Actually a step above their initial invisible guns in Yu-Gi-Oh! That just had guys aggressively
Imagine if the name Naruto was like Nathan.
Obviously, any and all religious symbols were altered.
My favorite
Any names
anime
that sounded
is
too
Nathan!
Japanese were changed, but only sometimes, I guess. And most importantly, there was this one guy in Yu-Gi-Oh! GX who had his butt crack removed. A moment of silence for the guy whose job that was. I didn't even know until doing this video that the Shadow Realm, which is like one of the three things I actually know about Yu-Gi-Oh! Was completely created by 4Kids as a substitute for characters dying in the original version. So they just replaced it by saying that characters were being forcefully sent away to an eternal purgatory, which is so much better apparently. I guess it was such a successful workaround that it would later be basically plagiarized in other series like Bakugan with the Doom Dimension, that as far as I know was also a part of the original Japanese version. Any alcohol would obviously be swapped out with a much more family-friendly water or bottle of hot sauce.
You do like hot sauce.
Oh,
Damn,
yes,
I love how you can
because it
see
makes
the edit
perfect
too.
sense to have somebody down
looks
an
so
entire
bad.
bottle of hot sauce.
He reeks of hot sauce too.
But somehow, even after all of that, I still think the craziest thing 4Kids has ever done is
He reeks of hot sauce too. Wait.
acting like this top secret government cover-up that Japan doesn't exist. In Sonic X, among censoring things like Rouge's cleavage, a national tragedy, any signs with any form of text on it, not just Japanese, would be completely removed. Which I'm guessing was probably done by like the production company who left it blank for localizers to fill it in later. But 4Kids was apparently just too lazy to change it back, even though some of it was already in English. In their Pokemon dub, food like rice balls would be changed into the much more American-friendly sandwiches. That's if they even bothered to change it at all.
Have a donut. That always cheers me up. Pika pika.
These donuts are great. Jelly-filled are my favorite. Nothing beats a jelly-filled donut.
That must have been very confusing to an entire generation of children.
I honestly believed you.
Mom, where do we get the jelly-filled donuts like they have in Pokemon? They're like triangular, and like they have like this thing on them. It's like really dark green or like black. What is that, Mommy?
I
thought it was a Digimon.
But you lied to me. So you lied to everyone.
One episode of the first season is pretty inspired by like Japanese folklore, with them having to use these talismans to ward off a ghastly, which in the English dub they simplify as being anti-ghost stickers.
We have stickers. These are anti-ghost stickers.
With localization of anime, it's pretty common practice for them to change certain things to be more accessible.
Come on, just teach the children what an amulet or a talisman is. It's not that complicated. It comes up all the time in all types of media. Was it really that big of a deal?
To a certain audience, but usually you would see that being done with like the dialogue. I'm pretty sure it was fairly unusual for the amount of work 4Kids put in with like actually editing the show itself. In a show like Pokemon with fantasy creatures and an immortal protagonist,
Mew Power,
I'm pretty
don't get
sure
me
children
started.
are going to be completely fine suspending their disbelief with the food, alright? Now, I know I'm giving 4Kids a lot of shit, but honestly, some of their dubs are really nostalgic.
I just think about the fact that there's a quote that she does, like, it's like Sailor Moon. You know how she says, "In the name of the moon, I will punish you." So cool. The way they did that in English, great. Do you want to know what they did with the fucking Tokyo Mew Mew one when they translated that shit to English? Okay, here's her new catchphrase. Fuck, I can't speak anymore. Jesus Christ. Anyway. Mew Mew style, Mew Mew grace, Mew Mew power in your face. They did her so fucking dirty. They did her so fucking dirty. Like, you have Sailor Moon over there, like, "In the name of the moon, I shall punish you." That goes so fucking hard. And then she's like, "Mew Mew power in your face." I fucking can't stand it.
Especially like Sonic X, which I obviously grew up with. I think now that the Japanese version is just as easily accessible as the dub, it's not really as much of a problem anymore.
What was the original?
But
I don't even fucking remember. It's been erased by the English dub.
Understand that back in the day, people who wanted like an authentic adaptation were probably feeling a little bit ripped off, especially considering that some of the changes they made actually affected the plot as well sometimes. Like in the Japanese version of Sonic X, there's a scene where one of Shadow's companions sacrifices herself to save him, whereas in the 4Kids version, she just fucking leaves. I could literally make an entire video out of the endless stupid changes that 4Kids made, but they weren't the only ones implementing censorship when localizing anime, just the most well-known. One of the most infamous localization changes was to
I love this one. I love this one because they wanted to censor it so that they wouldn't be lesbians, but they didn't censor it hard enough because they made them cousins, right? They're not cousins in the original. So they made them cousins, but they're both girls. And so they thought that making them cousins would make it make sense why they were so like friendly with each other, but instead what they ended up doing was making them lesbian cousins.
The English dub of Sailor Moon, where Sailors Neptune and Uranus were changed from a couple to cousins to try and get around and reshape the context of why they were like so affectionate toward each other, but just ends up making it really weird and uncomfortable.
There's a cousin fucker on the team.
Leave it to me, cuz. Okay.
For Dragon Ball Z, among an endless amount of censorship for the violence.
So you want some noodles, do you? It's your 5 seconds of fame.
Leave it to me, cuz.
I can see their parachutes. They're okay.
The text on the shirts of the demons were replaced with HIFIL, which is meant to stand for Home for Infinite Losers. Okay, that one's actually
Awesome.
not bad. I can't tell you the number of examples of drawn-on swimsuits to cover up animated nudity, or the ever-present rule that guns are absolutely not allowed, but laser guns are fucking awesome. The
Yes.
Disney XD airing of Doraemon followed in 4Kids' footsteps, with Japanese yen being changed to American dollars, chopsticks with forks, and a first aid kit with a pizza box. I'm pretty sure we have first aid kits here too, guys.
4Kids was so terrified of letting children know that other countries existed.
We all make fun of 4Kids, but it's not like Japanese broadcasts of their own shows aren't censored to hell sometimes. The third part of JoJo blacked out any underage smoking, so Jotaro just has this black haze around his face sometimes. One of the most common ways I see that even makes it onto Crunchyroll sometimes is just to cover up nudity or gore with literal black dots or white boxes like it's someone's first time on Windows Movie Maker. The very violent ending of School Days didn't even make it to broadcast because of a very similar
It fixes
incident that
everything.
happened in real life at the time. So instead, they just replaced it with 30 minutes of some nature footage. That's some very nice music in the background. It's funny because Japan is kind of like the inverse of America, in which like nudity is sometimes okay on certain channels, but violence is a big no-no. But it gets even worse internationally with more heavily censored countries. My Hero Academia in the Philippines blurred out all shots of characters like Momo's cleavage. For the 3 remaining anime they didn't ban, China took to covering suggestive content in anime like Miss Kobayashi's Dragon.
The big controversy here. Censorship is bad, but the censorship looks better. We love a flat queen.
All of the boobs. The Persian dub of SpongeBob then one-ups this somehow by like covering up Sandy with a purple blob, which is honestly more effort than Thailand goes to with just blurring half the friggin' screen.
Welcome.
The same goes for South Korea with examples like My Dress Up Darling, but only for the lower half of the body for some reason, which makes it look so much worse than it actually is.
You're making it look like it's porn!
Germany, they made a character in Naruto's sword invisible, which means you end up with this one scene where he's just floating in mid-air. It takes effort to put in less effort than 4Kids. And no, sadly, the edits where in certain anime they change the blood to a much worse white that makes it look like aren't real, but what they are is very funny. And just before we wrap up, I thought we should look at the final boss of censorship.
That was malicious compliance from the editor, okay? They told him to edit it so that it would be censored, and he said, oh yeah, I'll edit it. You said I can pick what color I change it to, right? They're like, yeah, just make sure it's not red. Of course, it won't be. Oh, trust me, it won't be.
Where they just give up and ban episodes completely. It always really fascinated me as a kid how little censorship there was in Japan with kids shows. I was always really jealous that their Power Rangers could bleed and their Sonic could just casually swear. Shit. Going back to 4Kids one last time, there was an episode of Pokemon that featured like 30 seconds of firearms that was enough to defeat their invisible gun technology. And there was another infamous one too, but YouTube definitely won't let me show that one. I am sure that nobody is surprised that the record for the most censored or banned episodes belongs to South Park. And to go through all of their many controversies that caused banned or censored episodes would pretty much take forever.
You see, I learned something today.
Aqua Teen Hunger Force made an episode making fun of the time where
I like
marketing
Aqua
campaign
Teen
for their
Hunger
movie
Force.
resulted in a bomb
That was
scare
my
that
brain
cost
rot.
Cartoon
That was my
Network $2
skibbity
million
toilet.
in damages, but they weren't even allowed to air that one either. Lame. I know there was this one episode of Peppa Pig that got banned in Australia because the whole moral of it was that spiders are friendly and can't hurt you, which for the first time I genuinely think was a good call considering this is a country where spiders definitely can hurt you. Even Power Rangers got banned for a bit in Malaysia because they thought the word morphin was too similar to morphine, and therefore the show was encouraging heroin abuse. Yes, really. It's morphine time.
I can't.
At least has been kind of a beautiful time when it comes to a lack of censorship, since while obviously they still have to fall under the general ratings.
It's morphine time, I say in Bioshock as I fucking inject my meth.
Since they aren't technically TV, they don't have to be subject to as heavy censorship, which has kind of just led to like Netflix doing whatever the fuck they want. But that doesn't mean they can't apply their own censorship if they'd like that time in the movie Splash where Disney digitally added hair to cover up a butt. I know Disney specifically is notoriously frustrating with their studio notes with what can make it into episodes, so it honestly makes me super happy that shows like The Owl House made it as far as they have with showing like Luz and Amity's relationship, but that's obviously only if you live in the US. You bet not a single frame of that has made it into countries like Taiwan. And of course, this goes for any newer cartoons at the moment with any form of LGBT content in it from any channel, like, of course, Steven Universe. I'm sure we all know why this one was censored, because of the gratuitous violence against watermelons. Seriously, by the way.
That's fucked up. Why would you do that?
Look at how insane TV censorship is at times. I know I am only
barely
scratching the surface of how bad it gets, but maybe I'll save some of that other stuff for some other time.
You pissed me off.
But only if this video gets monetized.
It's so over. No, honestly, I think it's kind of sad though. I think it's kind of sad because I see a lot of people involved in localization who defend things like that. They say like the aim of localization is to make it feel as natural to the person watching it as possible. Which is to say that like they don't want them to realize that it comes from a different place, but I really don't see why that's such a problem. I don't get it. Why is it so bad if a child sees chopsticks in a fucking anime on 4Kids and then they ask their parents and they're like, Mom, Dad, what is that? It's just a moment for them to learn. I actually like the cultural exchange of anime, and not just anime, but watching anything in general. I don't think that things have to be localized in the sense like, oh, it literally needs to feel fucking local. I just need to understand it in the language that you're localizing it to, as best as you can, as accurately as you can. I don't really see the point to censoring fucking rice balls and shit. It just feels silly. Imagine if anime like ReZero was censored. I just want the episode with Jesse and James in their bikinis. I want that aired. I want it live. I think everyone needs to see it. I think everyone needs to see it. You know, me in particular, me especially. I need to see it in English. I won't rest until I do. I'll keep fighting until my last fucking breath. The subs of ReZero are censored. There's a lot of things that are censored in subs, I guess. I wouldn't know. I think it's more of a problem with official subs than translation, like fan translation subs. Free James Booba. Who? Oh, yeah. You mean James from Pokemon. When you said James, I started thinking of James Sunderland again. You know, no, I don't want to say that because I think I'll just be talking out of my ass. I just think I'll be talking out of my ass. I don't believe it. Who the fuck am I rating today? Who should I raid? There's so many options. Every day, choices to be made. And people like me who aren't good at making them, even though they don't fucking matter. Because they're just choices. Free the booba on Twitch as well. I think the booba's freed enough. Maybe we need underboob. We should fight for that, though.
Hello,
Lucas, thank you for the 544.
I hope you all had a great day and a fun time, and of course I hope that you had a great day and a fun time too, Lucy.
Oh, I thought you were just repeating yourself for, like, comedic effect for whatever reason or purpose. But yeah, I hope Chatty had a great day and a good time as well. I hope Chatty is feeling amazing. I feel fantastic. I don't think anybody has seen that video, so they don't even know what the fuck I'm talking about. Thank you for streaming. I enjoyed my stay, Lucy. You will enjoy your stay even more because, fuck it. I'm just gonna raid Cinder. She raided me yesterday, so I'll raid. I will raid Cinder. We're going to go say hello to my sister. Please don't tell her about my brother's situation. I'm mortified personally. Just absolutely fucking living life in terror every single day with the knowledge that I have regarding Cinder and my brother. Which makes it sound weird out of context. I promise you. It's not weird. Oh no, it is weird. Come, my brother is weird. But Cinder did nothing wrong. She is innocent. She is free of sin. Never committed a sin in her life, I think. If you ask her right now, when we raid into her, ask her if she's ever committed a sin. She'll say no. She'll say no, I don't even know what a sin is. I am holy and pure. Impossible for me to be otherwise. Wait, by the way, that body video in Elden Ring, are there spoilers for those last two bosses you haven't streamed yet? I'm probably not gonna stream them though, so I don't think it matters. I think we can watch it. I just don't know if we actually will end up watching it. Because I tend to like watching lore videos off stream so I can actually absorb them. I don't know if you guys notice, but pretty much anytime I stream something, I can absorb at best like 75% of what I'm watching because I'm also thinking of entertaining chat and commenting on the video instead of just like taking it in for what it is and getting my opinions later. So, I like to watch lore off stream most of the time because I'm not very smart. I'm a little bit head empty. But either way, I had a lot of fun this week. I have another collab with Fillion Monday, 6 p.m. EST. I'll see you there. I love you, Chatty. Please have a good rest of your weekend. Mwah! Bye-bye! Bye-bye-bye-bye-bye.